Hello, Aaron Moore.
Hi.
Hey, glad we were able to do this today.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's beautiful out, and yeah.
Is it? I haven't been outside.
Oh, man, you gotta try it. It's
I
I spent a few minutes out there.
I woke up and started recording vocals like immediately. So I had all the curtains closed, doors, everything.
Oh, okay, okay, right on. Um, so for the audience here, I'd like to introduce Aaron Moore. He is a musician, a recording engineer, and many other things. And what I'd like to start out with is your solo project, A Moortal.
Okay.
I overpronounced it to make sure I said it right.
Yep. That
Maybe I
that
didn't. So A
that's how
Moortal,
it's pronounced. So you're good.
nice. Um, yeah, I like the name of your band, just A Mortal, just some guy. But
I fig
you good?
I, f- I figured if I made it like a play on my name, I'd never have to worry about like copyright or anything.
Right. Um, well, that's a thing though. Like my landscaping company is Bo Knows Landscaping. And for anyone who knows, there's a famous football player who's also a baseball player named Bo, and he coined that phrase "Bo knows." But since my actual name's in the title of the business, I don't have to worry about it, like giving him money or anything like that.
Smart.
Yeah, I hope it works out so far. Um, so when did Amortal start?
Beginning of 2020. It was kind of a pandemic project, actually.
Okay, yeah, that I you started releasing singles that year, and you've been consistent with that.
I've been trying. When I first started, the goal was a single every 2 months, and then at one point I got really busy and didn't release anything for like 4 months. But now I'm doing a song every month for at least the next year is the goal.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, looking at your list of singles, I'm looking on title. Yeah, a lot during 2021. Yeah, heck yeah. And you're gonna just keep going with releasing singles this year.
yeah,
Awesome.
that's the plan. And then maybe when all's said and done, I'll comp them all together and do like a couple remixes and put it out as an album. But it'll be more of a compilation than an album, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard quite a few bands go that route of just to keep content, uh, have constant content for especially the internet audience. You release a single and then you put them together as an album, maybe some songs someone else didn't hear before, um, weren't anywhere else. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Um, oh, Aaron writes metal
No, yeah.
mostly.
Yeah, for
So
anyone who doesn't know, Immortal is a relatively extreme metalcore project. Lots of screaming, distorted guitars, fast drums, all that fun stuff.
yeah, yeah, low tunings, right?
Yeah, kind of. I
Yeah.
don't venture as low as a lot of modern metal. I'm not playing in like double drop E or drop F or crazy stuff. It's just like drop C, drop B. I have a 7 string guitar, but I never use it.
Oh, okay. I don't think I've seen you play it. Have I?
Yeah. I've made one song with it before I started Immortal, and I just sat on it and never got around to doing anything with it. Whoops.
Yeah. You still love your guitar though, right? All your
Yeah,
guitars? Really?
absolutely.
Okay.
They're all wonderful, beautiful children.
There you go. Um, yeah, yeah. No, again, I'm happy we could do this today. Like, many won't know, but we've known each other for a while,
Yeah, God,
long time.
a decade at least, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 10 years at least.
Back when I was still in Edomineo, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So yeah, like since 08, 09, something like that.
You actually
We're
performed
old.
at the second. concert I had ever seen.
Really?
Yeah, at Rebecca's Lodge in Laurel Lake, California. Yep.
I miss those shows. Those were so fun.
Yeah, they were hot because it's a very small room, but
Yeah,
it
it
had
could
a
be
had
30
good energy
degrees
to
out.
it.
It'd be 30 degrees outside, and we'd be in there sweating our asses off.
I remember one time it got so hot and sweaty in there that the floor was dangerous to run on.
Yep, that
I don't
sounds right.
Someone probably slipped. I don't remember. Maybe it was me and that's why I don't remember. But yeah, yeah, for sure. My first concert was Weird Al Yankovic, and then my second concert ever was seeing I'm pretty sure it was Indomineo, From the Ashes, and a couple other bands at Rebecca's Lodge years ago.
Okay, real quick, I got to touch on. So you said your first concert was Weird Al.
Yeah.
My first concert was Weird Al.
What?
Yeah, was it at Canocti?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
I wonder if we were at the same one. I don't remember
Funny
what
is
year it was.
I was like 13.
Okay,
So that
then it
was
was
like 20 when was it? 2007.
okay. It was
Yeah.
definitely not the same one then. I was like 9 or 10. It was probably like 99 when I saw him out there. I'm old, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah. I had fun. The Yankovic show and yeah.
Yeah, I
Uh
remember you were at a lot of the underground shows back in the day.
well, there was a certain year where I was going to everyone I could, you know. I I would think I only went to like a third over a span of 10 years when, went from Rebecca's Lodge to a venue here or there, Moose Lodge. Remember you guys were doing shows at the youth center at Redbud
Hmm.
Park in Clear Lake, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Different places.
anywhere that would let us make noise and yell at people.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, good times. So back to Immortal.
Yes,
Um,
sorry.
how dare you?
Easily distracted.
Oh,
I
it's
don't.
gonna. That's me all day long.
We're gonna get through 3 of the questions you had planned. I'm sure.
All right, that's a good record. Yeah. Um. Okay, so you got some singles coming out this year.
Yep.
And you have a music video out too for wait for it, Life Deferred, right? Your song Life
Yes.
Deferred.
Yeah. That
Okay.
one we did. That was a while ago. That was back in, I want to say mid 2020. I think it dropped in like no, late. It was September.
Who's
My
all
my
involved in that, making that? You and
my buddy Mitchell, Mitchell Swanton. Um, he's at the time he was just getting his videography business off the ground, and he hit me up. He was like, "Hey, let's make a video. This song is dope." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." It was just me, him. I can't remember dude's name, but he brought like a friend to be an assistant, and then my girlfriend Heather was there helping out too. And we shot it in this basement under a hair salon in Petaluma. I was like this pretty much the whole time we were shooting, worried I was gonna hit my head on something.
you could tell your height in that set. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I had to like when I needed to stand up straight, I had to like line myself up in between the floor rafters of the building above us, and my head would be like in between them. It was crazy, but it was a lot of fun. Hot,
Don't
sweaty.
yeah, don't move one way or hit the beam. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that video. I'm real proud of it. Mitch did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. I was excited and impressed when I saw it because that's your first video with Immortal, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
my first music video ever, really. Before that, I had only done like some like DIY like crash through it like in the garage kind of videos or like edited together live footage or done guitar playthroughs, but never like a proper music video before that.
Nice.
I put that on silent. People want to talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone wants to talk to you today.
Hi, Heather.
Um, okay. I really like the frame in your life deferred video.
Now he made it
Um,
like super widescreen, like really cinematic.
yeah.
I
The shot
just
I'm thinking of though is, it's backed off you, and
mm,
you're behind the screen, or that's the effect you're going for. You're
mm.
behind the screen, just doing your thing.
Oh yeah.
Thought that was interesting.
On the side of the basement, I think there used to be a water heater or something there. I'm not really sure, but there was just this big like concrete indent with like water pipes running through it. So we shoved me in there, lit it, and tied me up to all the pipes with a bunch of cord and chain. It was uncomfortable by the end
That's
of the
really
shoot.
metal. Yeah.
Yeah, everything was like connected. So like, Mitch was directing me like move, thrash around, really fight it. But it would like if I moved my arm here, the rope over here would get tighter. So like I left with like bruises all over my arms and ribs. It was really uncomfortable, but it
Yeah.
looks cool, so it's fine.
It's for the arts.
Right?
Yeah. Partly
Music
helped
important.
helped with your inspiration.
Yeah.
And the director brings the actor around and is like, here's your inspiration.
At that point, that was the last shoot. Whoop, chair. That was the last shot of the day. So at that point, I was just tired and like dying. Like, just one more time. We do the whole shot. It's like, okay, one more take. Okay, and then we're done. Yeah. Okay, one more take. Fuck.
Yeah, I mean the amount of hours filming anything like that takes it can surprise someone, someone who hasn't looked into it. Some major movies, you're on set 13, 14 plus hours sometimes.
Yeah, this was an 8 or 9 hour day to do a 4 minute video.
Yeah. Well, you're that's what it takes to make sure it's something you want to do. I mean, that. I'm just speaking
Yeah.
for anyone who's
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
listening. It
Totally.
takes a
Totally.
lot.
Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, this shit's hard work.
um, and I'd like to talk about, as we go along here, keep in mind maybe some advice you'd give to musicians or artists, or those who are just getting into the swing of things. Maybe they have a band they're starting. Um,
I
I
give
have a
you.
I have a screen over here. I put it up so I would be able to read questions and not have to go through different screens. But it's just far enough that I have to put my glasses on for stuff.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Um, anyone listening, I'll give you my biggest piece of advice right now. Don't wait. Just do the thing. Whatever it is, just do it. Don't worry about sucking because you're going to be terrible at it. Just start and get it out there. And every time you do it, you'll get better. So
Yeah.
many people
Start
get,
somewhere. Yep.
yeah, so many people just get in their head and are like, no, the mix has to be perfect before I put it out there. Just release it good enough. Like 80% done is better than nothing.
Yep. Get somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Uh,
that.
my the first recording I ever did, E Domineo, actually. I had like no assets. I recorded drums with the microphone built into the laptop. I set it on the bass amp, pointed it at the drum kit, and
Nice.
the
Okay.
drummer got to play the song from memory without any assistance. And then we tracked everything to that, and I did the best I could to mix it. And it sounded better than stuff I had paid for before that. So, just if you have anything, you can do it. Just go now. Stop. No, don't stop listening to this. Finish this, then go do it.
Yep. Yeah. You can only. I mean, even if someone tried that and the recording was good, bad, whatever, you have this task you completed. It's it's a point of, launch. Is a launching point,
Yeah.
so to speak. You can only learn and get better, and now you have something to show for your, your effort. And yeah. um what year did Indomineo start?
Uh you're really pushing the boundaries of my memory. I want
Dig,
to say
Aaron, dig.
I want to say 2007. It was like right after I graduated high school. So it was like '06, '07, somewhere in there.
Okay, okay. And you were we did you do the first recordings for recording Domineo?
I think I did all the recordings for Domineo.
I figured,
Um,
okay. I
yeah,
still
that
have
was
the CD
so
somewhere.
that CD is the one that was the laptop on the bass amp recording.
Nice. Okay. That
Yeah,
turned out okay. Okay, I didn't realize the recording setup there. I that turned out better than you would assume a laptop speaker from the mid 2000s, early
yeah, it
2000s, I mean.
was an '05 MacBook.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Um so let me make sure I'm reading this right. I have my glasses on, but I gotta kind of generalize from your experiences. What can you tell me about the process of getting bands together, starting projects? How do you get groups of creative yet independent human beings together and it works out? Like, what are some mistakes that you've experienced? Generally speaking, uh, what advice would you give? Also,
Oof.
yeah,
Starting bands is hard. I I've learned, I've heard, and I've come to accept I'm a bit of a control freak. I understand this. So I know I'm a bit difficult to work with. Um, but I don't even know where to start. Every band I've ever started has just been like, I wrote this cool guitar riff and I want to play it with people. Um, so I just start, hitting up friends, going to shows, talking to people at shows. I've gotten really lucky personally, or at least I think I have. Every time I've set out to start a band, members have just kind of shown up. Like people I didn't even know before I was like, I need to start this band. I'd meet them at a
yeah.
show, and then 2 weeks later, we're jamming. Um, but yeah, the best thing you can do is go to shows in the area where you're trying to do it. Facebook groups have been really helpful in the last few years, but musicians are tough, man. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to find creative people who are professional too. The two
True.
things don't
Follow through.
typically, yeah, they usually don't go together. If you find an amazing drummer, he's probably always late and would rather spend you know his money on beer and tattoos than gas to get to practice or a show or drumsticks. Oh, it's it,
I'm a drummer, and yes, I do all those things. But one thing I think it's really important that you mention is pretty much, yeah, ego.
yeah,
And you gotta not only check your own ego, but everyone else does, because everyone should have an input. And
yeah,
to move forward, it's really necessary. And then there's follow through. You want getting band members, or really in any industry, getting coworkers, someone who's focused on getting that job done, the follow through, just seeing out to the end, no matter the issue, what issues arise, I mean.
yeah. And to cap it off, like I said, I'm a bit of a control freak. I have anxiety, so things like wasting time, just like I tense up so much. Like, it's so hard at band practice when everyone just goofs off for an hour. Like, bro, we got a show in 2 days. We got to get through this set.
There's a balance, I'm sure. There's a balance
Yeah,
of all that, because you want some camaraderie, but
yeah,
you just really love what you do.
yeah,
I'm sure
definitely.
everyone can relate to that.
Yeah, that's one thing. If you do that, I think that's why it's so hard. When you do music, you tend to be really passionate about it, and it's hard. It's difficult to compromise your passions to appease other people. So you've got, when you got a band, you got 3, 5, sometimes 6, 7 people all in a room who like care about this thing you're doing, like it's the love of their life, maybe more. Um, so it's really hard to like get everyone to come together on something that's that important to you. Um,
Yeah, I mean, and getting getting so many people together and just somehow knowing how the best way to go.
Dude.
Generally
Yeah,
speaking, you know what I mean. How do we do this? We can write
yeah,
songs and we can play songs. How trying to balance everybody and making sure everyone feels like they have input
yeah,
is the balance.
yeah. It's tough. I found that bands tend to work best when there's one person who's kind of running the show. You've got like the captain, and
Band
then
leader, yeah.
everyone, yeah, and then everyone's a team under them. They're just like the one making decisions and set schedules, and it's usually me. But I found in other projects when it's someone else, it still works out pretty well. Um, and then before we venture off from this, you mentioned advice. Something I did with the last band I started before Immortal, Fanaron, that went really well is I sat down and I wrote 4 or 5 songs before I had any band members. So I sat down, I wrote and recorded an EP. I did all the parts myself. And then when I was talking to people about starting a band, I had something to show them. I was like, check out these songs. This is the sound we're going for. These are what I want to get off the ground with first. And then we can write stuff collaboratively in the future. And that worked really well, especially with drummers, because I could just give them a CD
Mm-hmm.
and they'd go home and listen to it and be like, okay. And they'd just learn the songs and come back 2 weeks later and we were ready to play.
Gotcha.
Get a recording setup, even if it's a basic one. If you're trying to do music, that's the biggest thing.
I I I'm right there with you. um. So, oh, I knew where we were gonna segue into. What was it? I'm professional.
I am professional.
um. Okay. So, well, I'll segue. We'll come back to Amoral for a second because we mentioned recording. So you also have a recording service company, right?
Yes.
Alchemic Art Audio.
Yeah.
Like,
Alchemic Audio.
okay, like alchemy, but alchemic. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
okay. And what are some of your recording credits? I know you have ZZ Lurk, right?
Yep.
You
I
did
did Root
some.
Rot back in the day.
Oh, right,
Uh,
right, right, right. I remember that.
Hang on. I can see my rat case. It's got a bunch of stickers on the side. Let's see, I recorded As All Else Fails, Predation, Root Rot, Into the Awakening, all my own projects, of course. Um, yeah, Death and Taxes and before
That's
ZZ Lurk.
I was gonna mention. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
did a, and then all of my own projects. Like I said, I do the Immortal stuff. I record and produce Dead Love. Um, and I'm trying to get more, but yeah, small town life.
For sure, for sure. And your whole recording service at the moment is really geared to portable. Like
Yes.
I'll come to you with
Yeah,
pretty much all we need, essentially, right?
yeah, exactly. I've got it all set up in a nice little flight case.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
What's in your rig right now? You got a case, and then what's in the case?
I've got a Tascam US 1800 interface. It's
8 input.
what's it? It's 16
Oh,
actually.
oh,
Yeah, 16 input, 8 output, and then it's got 8 preamps, and then everything else is 1/4 inch. So I've got an external native preamp that gets me 6 more of those. So right now I can run up to 14 inputs simultaneously. And then I've the only other things in there are a power conditioner and a drawer that I keep my all my mics in.
nice.
When I
Um, we're getting into technical stuff. So what Aaron's describing is in his case of magic, he has everything he needs to, well, essentially many devices to which to record a band or produce a band. We're talking about his setup, and he has the ability to not only do 16 inputs, right? So that's
yeah
16 microphones in, possible if it was
yeah
necessary, and or at least
all at the same time.
backup preamps if something went off.
Yeah,
Okay.
Usually, I only need 8 to 10 of them to do like a drum kit.
Mhm.
Um, Something I haven't gotten to do yet that I really want to do because I have the inputs for it is I would love to record a full band live. That would be a lot of fun, just live on the floor.
Okay.
But that hasn't happened yet.
That's actually was going to be one of my questions. Like, what's something you haven't done that you're like record in the recording world? You know, that recording a whole band at once, huh?
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Either like in a studio setting where everyone sets up specifically for that, or just like going to a show and coordinating with the sound guy.
Hmm.
Either or would be a lot of fun.
Nice. Um. Okay. So a band contacts you to get recordings. You have what you need. You go to their garage, their house, their studio, wherever, they pretty much set up a spot, right? Or do you have uh rooms or spaces you could set everyone up at if you need to? Do you have something
So
like that?
I don't have a space. That was part of the thinking when I designed the mobile studio.
Sure,
Um,
sure. But are you able to find a space if the band doesn't,
um,
hypothetically speaking?
we could probably like collaborate and like find a rehearsal space. Something like
Okay.
the sound barn or something. The band, I would help them find it and they could rent it out for the day. But most bands, if they're playing together, they have a practice space.
Hmm.
And that's where we record. I like to record them where they're comfortable, and that's usually wherever they jam every week. That's where I want to come and work with you.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good way to go with finding out where they're comfortable at.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I want to mention here, I'm on your Alchemic uh, Audio Facebook,
Okay. It
and I'm
might be a
looking
little
over
out of
your
date.
pretty much your price points and a few things. And I invite anyone who's interested to go check that out. But one thing I think is really smart that you added to this list is at the bottom on deposits. A deposit of half will be required in advance. The remaining balance will be paid at the end of the recording session. No tracks will be given raw or finished until full payments is received. I think that's freaking the right way to go. Every industry, like especially contractors, that's a rule because we were talking about musicians. I'm a musician, you're a musician, we're all musicians. We're very we're all over the place. So sometimes you don't know who you're working with, and then you either don't get paid, or like you mentioned, it mentions you won't give them the audio until payment or the project's done. Sometimes someone will say, "Hey, just can you give me a rough MP3 or something?" Or and they'll just take that and say, "All right, well, no, you know what? We're done
Yep.
here. I'm releasing this." It's and
Yeah.
but then they lose quality like that. Anyway, I think that's a really good way to go about it. Kind of,
Thank you.
yeah, it breaks even with your time you put into the project
Yeah.
by wanting so much up front. It really saves your ass.
Yeah. I hate having to be a hard ass about that stuff because I want to trust people, but you got to cover your ass. And yeah, musicians will, yeah, like you said, they'll take your rough demo cut that you give them and just go put it out there and never talk to you again, or they'll try to pay you in beer or Hot
it
Topic gift cards. Like
it's
it's
happened.
wild.
It's
Yeah,
happened. Hot
thankfully
Topic gift
not
card.
to me. I've been really lucky. None of the artists I've recorded have ever tried to screw me.
Mhm.
Um, but I've heard some horror stories. So I'm just like, let's get in front of this.
You ever you know how a recording company or a label or something like that will or a beat maker will have their music for demoed on like SoundCloud, for example, or somewhere else, and to protect it, they'll like record over the song like property of bad beats,
Yeah.
like 15 times, because that's the reason. That's because of that exact problem. Someone will just take it, use it. Oh, I love it when like an artist or whoever like does that, takes the song that's done finished or has some audio recorded over it to protect the recording engineer or whatever, and they release it anyway, and it still has the property of bad beats.
It's real classy when that happens.
Yeah, just the worst copy of the song too.
Yeah.
What so we talked about your portable recording setup for Alchemic. What do you have at your house? Is it the same equipment, or do you have what's your recording setup at home for Immortal and Dead Love and all that?
So it's almost identical. It's the same computer. The only thing that's different is I do all the mixing and mastering at home. So like if you hire me, I come, I'll record you, and then I'll pack up and leave, and I'll go home and I'll mix it at home. And at home, I've got nicer monitors. I've got some M Audio BX5s. I've got some headphones. I've got some room emulation for headphone mixing. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same. I've got my laptop that I'm talking to you on my desk. I have a different small interface on my desk. It's only 2 inputs because that's all I need at home.
What DAW are you using right now?
Cubase. I've been in Cubase for over a decade. I actually just upgraded from Cubase 5, yes, Cubase 5, to Cubase Pro 11.
Okay, wow.
And it
pretty big difference, learning curves.
No, not a. I mean, it's the same program, thankfully, and like the layout's pretty much all the same. There's just a bunch of features I didn't have before that I love. Yeah. It makes me so happy. Just to be a nerd for a brief moment. Sorry, untechnical musician audience.
Warning.
The new Cubase has this feature. It's an audio alignment. So like I quad track all my vocals, so I'll do 4 takes of the same performance.
Okay.
And I used to have to go in and like chop it up syllable by syllable and line it up so it didn't sound like 4 performances. And yeah, anyone who doesn't produce music, this is pretty standard. Every pop record you've heard does this, but with like 40 takes. It's ridiculous.
Layers.
There's so many layers.
Dubs.
But Cubase has this thing where you can pick your best of the 4 performances, and that's your reference. And then you load the other layers into it, and it does the alignment for you. It does like the time stretch and everything. It detects all the syllables and words, makes sure everything ends in the same spot. It saves so much time. I would pay for Cubase 2 more times just for that feature.
So it's like a more intricate quantize?
Yeah,
function?
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like an auto quantize, but instead of snapping to the grid, it lines up based on the performance.
Okay. So you have several takes of your vocal recording, let's say.
Yeah.
And it's all good, it's sounding good, but you want to just give it more oomph, so you have these other takes. So, you don't have another singer or, someone else that's with you at, for this stage anyway.
Yeah.
But you want that effect of multiple voices. And that's what you're describing is you're doing that for that effect.
Well, so kind of. That's actually different.
Okay.
If I want it to sound like multiple voices, I won't line it up because the variations are what gives that effect. This is to just make the main take really like big and powerful. Okay. So it happens when you do multiple layers of something, but it's the exact same performance. Each performance will break and waver in different places. So they all kind of fill in the gaps for each other, and then you treat them as one performance, and you just get this wall of voice noises that sound really good and crisp and polished.
Okay.
And then on top of that, like I'll do the harmonies, or in the case of my music, the low scream underneath the high scream. Calling it a harmony is generous. And then those I won't line up as much. I'll still make sure like the first consonants hit right and make sure the fades line up, but I'll leave them a little fucky so you can hear the difference. So that'll be kind of an intentional thing.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's hell yeah. So you tackle phase issues. You just DAWs tend to give you the ability to just flip the phase pretty
Yeah.
easily. Okay.
I with vocals I've yet to run into that because I'm just doing the same thing. So they're not really out of phase with each other,
Hmm.
thankfully. Yeah.
Different
Ideally if
enough. Yeah.
ideally if I flip the phase, they'd probably largely cancel each other out because it's the same thing. Um, unless the two takes are drastically different, then I gotta redo it.
Gotcha. Yeah. The only spot I've come up against like bad phase was all low end stuff I recorded, either
Mm.
a bass or a kick drum kind of. But that range is where I've found phase issue.
The snare drum is a big offender too. If you're miking up a kit, a lot of the time the snare drum won't be in phase with the overheads.
Yeah, in which is those who don't know when phase happens, it volume is the outcome. Volume issue is the outcome. You can
Yeah,
either take out the sound of an instrument completely, or just dither it to
yeah.
where you're like, what did I do? What's happening? It's not fun if you don't know
what
how to tackle it.
What's really fun is when like for somehow just the top end is out of phase. So your snare is there, but it just sounds like you're slapping a sheet of paper with a wet noodle.
Just
It's
yeah, the end somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. But you can usually fix that with EQ or flipping phase. I'll give away one of my favorite techniques, a little secret that I stole from Andy Sneap. So here, listeners have it.
What?
When you're mixing drums, take your overheads and just put a high pass filter on them. Get rid of everything below 500 or 600 hertz. That'll stop a lot of the phase conflicts between the overheads and the close mics,
Hmm.
and you'll still get all the sizzle out of the cymbals.
Yeah, gotcha. So, some mics, some condenser mics, they are made for overheads, tend to have that roll off button too.
Yeah,
So
that's
that makes
usually
sense. And
in that three to
objectively,
five
you're not
range.
going for the low end anyway. You're going if you're miking a drum set with overheads, you're usually going for cymbals and the outside layer of the drums,
Yeah, yeah,
so to
the
speak.
vibe.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
that is. Yeah, unless you have, I've done a few when I first started. Before I had gotten the big interface with the 16 channels. I had a much smaller one. I did some drum recordings where I only had like four microphones. So those were different. I'd get the overheads and try to set it up so the snare was in phase, and then just put a mic on the kick drum and snare, and then all the toms were in the overheads. Couldn't use that trick then, but got some good recordings, some really decent stuff, better than the laptop on the bass
Yeah. Okay, okay. I dig it. Yeah, I've run into you in the field before. When
amp.
you were recording. I remember you were recording with Chris Gearhart of ZZ Lurk. I'll put a link right here, Chris. Um,
Hi,
um,
Chris.
and I got this. Do you remember this guitar? I think I lent this to him, and you guys worked together.
Yeah, that's a jazz bass, right?
Yeah,
The
it's a
Squire
Squire
Fender.
Jazz bass.
Can't beat them.
Yeah, it's really awesome. It's really heavy too. Um, I don't know, just a lot of basses are light. I really like the sound of it. Yeah, I lent Chris that bass to record ZZ Lurk's last
Okay.
EP with.
Yeah, with ZZ Lurk, I only did the drums on those. I'm
Okay.
not sure what their process was otherwise, but yeah, Chris hit me up and we spent a weekend just getting all the drum tracks recorded, and then he sent them off with the guitar tracks to someone else to get like mixed and mastered,
Okay.
which which was cool. It was cool to like just do a small piece of it, but it was also hard to not mix them. I was like, oh, they're right here. I want to do all the things. Like, no, no, I was just paid to set up the microphones and send the files. So,
Yep. Yep. Right
Chris,
on.
if you hear this, I want to do a full song with you though. So you should hit me up.
Yeah, Chris. Um, well, their EP turned out pretty good, I think. I thought the
Yeah,
drum sound was pretty good.
Yeah, I gave it a listen. I would have mixed it different, but we're we're all different. But yeah, I thought it sounded good. It captured the sound they were going for, real like roomy and vibey, kind of almost. I don't
Spacious.
want to I don't want to say bad because that's subjective, but it was a very punk rock vibe, like bad on
Yeah.
purpose in a way. But again, not actually bad. It was just, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It was just real roomy and big and lots of echo. It sounded like they recorded it in like a giant haunted mansion. And it was a cool choice. I dug it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very spacious, and but everything comes through pretty clear, at least on the the outlets I've heard it from. I have a
Yeah.
CD, I've heard it online and headphones and all that.
Okay.
Um, it's not like a garage band recording. It's pretty. It's a good quality production.
Yeah. Yeah, I dug it. It's very different from
Yes.
what you usually hear today. Most stuff today is so like super polished. It was a brave move of them to kind of just be like, nah, fuck that. We want it to sound dirty and grimy and
Hmm.
punk. It's like, yeah, you're kind of doing that for other musicians. I think like that's really for the art. That's not for like the young fans who don't like know much about music and just listen to the radio. Like they're gonna hear that and be like, this sounds terrible. But
There's
yeah,
always gonna be someone that says that
uh,
though, even if it was the
true.
biggest band in the world.
Yeah, but us
I get what you're
us
saying. Yeah.
us recording nerds are gonna be like, oh, that's a fun choice. How'd you do that?
Right, right. Well, it's like you said, it's about the art. And it's about what you like. If you're happy with it, that's sometimes you don't get, even if it's the project's done, sometimes there's always something you don't dig about it, but also someone else, like a listener, would just love it, that little
Yeah.
nuance. And I'm surprised what I like, music wise. It changes all the time. So another question, since you're talking about where fans could, when a fan hears a new song and if it captures them or not, what do you remember off the top of your head, act or song or a band that caught you when you were younger, like just has been with you since,
Oh, when I was younger.
like something that caught you right away, you were
Hmm.
just decided, yeah, I like that.
So it was Slipknot that actually like got me into metal, like sixth, seventh grade. One of my friends was just like, "Hey, check this out,"
Mm-hmm.
um, and that's probably the biggest thing. 'Cause there was no going back. Before that, I just listened to whatever my parents listened to. And I heard Slipknot, I was like, "Oh, this is angry and energetic," and
Right.
I just loved it.
You
And
just you give it a second look when
yeah,
you hear it, so to speak. I
yeah,
actually first time I heard Slipknot was actually one of my mom's CDs. She didn't have a Slipknot CD. She had an Ozfest 2001 CD, and that
ooh,
was
that's a good
Slipknot's
one.
first. I think that was no, that was like either their second Ozfest or might I think they were in Ozfest in '99, but I might be wrong.
Yeah,
But they were playing New Abortion,
ooh, that's a good one.
so that was the first Slipknot song I ever heard. And
Yeah,
yeah, I finally saw them a couple years ago at Aftershock Festival in Sacramento, California.
mm,
It was just a great show.
yeah. I've only seen them live once, and it's very disappointing. But the show was amazing. I caught them in Concord with Of Mice and Men and Marilyn Manson.
Okay,
That was a fun show.
sure. Um, it's odd though when you see a band you followed forever for the first time though, right? It's eerie.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost yeah. Eerie is a good word for it. You're just For me, I was almost just in awe the whole time. I just like I didn't know how to process what was happening.
I
Uh,
always worry about how I should be having fun at a show like that. Like I'm always having fun. I'm not worried about everyone else seeing I'm having fun, but I'm just like, am I taking the time to enjoy this to the fullest?
right. Am
And
I
I did.
having Am I having the right amount of fun? Am I interfering in anyone else's fun? Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
that sounds a little bit like anxiety, my friend.
well, you're at a Slipknot show in the middle of their crowd. You get a little worried because I mean, one moment I'm over here, the crowd, gets close to you, then you're over there somewhere,
Your left
and
arm's pinned up against you, and you can like feel your hip
yeah,
and nothing
I'm
else.
having
And
so
this
much
arm,
fun.
this is so great. Uh,
Yeah,
when I saw Slipknot, it was the tour after Corey broke his neck, so he was wearing a neck brace the whole time. And still one of the best live performances I've ever seen. It was nuts.
he probably focused on singing more than
Yeah,
headbanging because he
yeah,
either
yeah.
does one or the other. You know.
No, he killed it. They killed it. That was a great show.
Yeah, for those who don't know, look up Slipknot and Corey Taylor, and then also if you're googling this, put neck, and you'll just see how big of a neck the dude has.
Yeah.
It's just a bicep on his,
Uh,
under his head there.
Nothing compared to Corpse Grinder, though.
No, Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah,
No, I've never understood that.
yeah.
It's
That
all got to
guy's
be from headbanging.
yeah, that guy's neck is just like next level. I don't know if anyone remembers the PS3 game Brutal Legend, but
I never played
it
it.
was like a hack and slash real time strategy game that they basically just built for Jack Black to be funny. And it was filled with like metal lore and jokes and stuff. But
Oh, Lemmy from Motorhead was in it, right?
yeah, yeah.
There's a whole bunch of. Yeah, I remember this game now. I wish I played it. Yeah,
But
there's a lot of good music in it.
so the whole plot of the game is you're like freeing these like slaves, and their whole job is to like headbang into rocks to break them up, and they just have these impossible neck muscles. If you've ever played that game, think about what those guys look like. Now give him long black hair, and you have Corpse Grinder from Cannibal Corpse.
Right.
Actually, I think he's blonde. I'm mixing him up with Nathan Explosion from Metalocalypse, who was modeled after him.
He was.
Corpse Corpse Grinder is blonde, but same thing. Just his neck goes from like his ears to his shoulders. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's interesting too because there's some of their early photos of Cannibal Corpse. Um, he has a thinner neck, and they must be around. They must have been doing this for around 30 years, maybe pushing 40.
Yeah, I think they
So
started in the
it's just
80s.
decades of kicking ass.
Yeah.
Um. So what are your goals with Alchemic Audio?
Um,
And what do you look? You have something you're looking forward to with that, or yeah?
I don't have anything booked and coming up right now. Chris and I actually from ZZ Work, I, I don't know if this is public info, but we're
You
trying
can
to
edit it
coordinate.
out if it's not. Go
Okay.
ahead.
We're trying to coordinate days to do another drum tracking session. That's the only thing I have on the books right now, other than working on my own stuff. As far as goals, I like recording and producing music almost as much as I like playing it. So like, I would really love to just be able to do it as a full time job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just to not have to have a 9 to 5 would be ideal. Yeah, if I could just some combination of recording other bands and making my own music could just be enough for me to live, I'd be so happy. That's the only goal. That's the only goal.
I'd like to be somewhere around that time
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. I did recently lose my job, so I with the support of my wonderful girlfriend Heather, am taking some time to just do music full time. So hopefully, I've always said, give me a year without a job, and I will turn it into money. Now it's time to put up or shut up. So we'll see what happens.
Fuck yeah, dude! I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just that time to focus it's rare. I mean, we don't have enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have trouble doing too many things. I have a couple of jobs and trying to grow the Crimson Media Group thing here. Oh, by the way, you're the second Crimson Media podcast guy
Woo!
interview thing, and you'll be the
Sweet.
first one that will be putting on like our Spotify and other things. I got a distributor
Sick.
to put out this podcast on other outlets.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you.
See,
That's what I'm going for, is doing more interviews and some other stuff we got planned. Yeah. Sorry, I keep looking over to my list there. I know when we edit this, it's just gonna be you talking, and then I'm
just reading ahead.
well, yeah. I have to get a list like just very clear, and I have to fix this whole thing for next time, but I'm a little bit dyslexic, so it's like kind of hard.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, a
You
little
have
bit.
you have a spicy brain too.
Spicy, yes.
Yeah.
Cayenne pepper. Yeah, yeah.
It's weird how many musicians are neurodivergent. I don't think I know any musicians who don't have anxiety, depression, ADHD, dyslexia, something. It's weird. It's almost like mentally healthy people aren't prepared to make art. No, no offense to anyone watching this or listening who's not spicy brained.
Well, there's plenty of successful people that aren't spicy brain, but I think everyone, especially artists, have some little nuance to them that makes them see the world a different way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Back to Amoral, we missed a really key factor. You're a one-man band right now,
yes.
correct?
Yes, Moortal is a solo project.
Right. You've talked about how you write the songs for it and how you do that part. And you recently did a show for Amoral, right? Was that your first show? How did that go? What went into that? Because I'm always wondering, does the front house mixer guy like love you because you're only one guy? It's all
he didn't really comment. But it sounded good, so I'm gonna assume I made his job easy. I'll ask him next show. We're doing another one in May.
Heck yeah. Okay.
But to answer your first question, that was my second show with Amoral. Both just small local shows here at the Moose Lodge in Clear Lake. And yeah, so the way I set it up is I pulled up the project files for all the songs I wanted to perform, and I just went in and muted the vocals. That was it. And there was a few parts where I left some contrasting vocals, like I wanted to scream high, but I wanted low underneath it. So like I left the backups in the project, and then I just exported all of those without vocals. Basically, made karaoke tracks of my own songs.
Okay.
And then once I had those, I opened a new Cubase project, and I put them in there in order, in the order I wanted to perform them. And then my buddy Josh made me a bunch of like these crazy like cinematic, like epic, almost like movie trailer sounds to put in between songs, and made me like an intro with a little narration explaining that it's a solo project and that you're only going to see me but going to hear a bunch of stuff. But I wrote, recorded, and performed all of it, I promise.
Okay.
And I just had it all organized in this like half-hour long project with set amounts of times between songs, cues for me, like drum count-ins and stuff if I had to come in right at the beginning. And yeah, that was the whole setup. And then when I got to the show, it was just open up the laptop, give the sound man 2 cables, left and right.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he set me up with a microphone, and when it was time, I just hit play, and I didn't touch the laptop until the set was over. It was great.
Awesome.
A little awkward,
Sure.
kind of hard to work the crowd by yourself. But it was fun. It was a good time. The crowd was really into it and receptive.
Okay.
Yeah,
it sounds like you got to your best of your ability, you got everything ready for that show. So all you had to worry about was the crowd.
Yeah, and screaming.
Act. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm right now I'm looking into like some stage lighting and stuff that I can like bring and set up myself to make it a little more interesting to fill in the gaps since I don't have a band. Metal metal's tricky. Like rappers and pop singers and stuff do this kind of setup all the time where they
Right,
just
right.
plug in their backing tracks and go.
It's,
But
it's
metal,
a newer thing to metal. There's a few one man bands that come to
yeah,
mind, but it's still rare. Yeah.
yeah, metal's real gatekeepy. So if you're not
Mhm.
like what they expect, they tend to be upset about it. But
Got thinking.
fortunately,
Yeah.
there's a lot of younger people who are getting into metal and they seem to be more open-minded. So like I've been listening to the top metal songs on Spotify over the last week as research, I like to call it. But I also just love heavy music, and I'm hearing a really big change. Like it used to be like guitar, drums, screaming, occasionally singing, and anything else, go fuck yourself.
Right.
And now I'm
That's
hearing
yeah.
like, go ahead.
Go. Who do you recommend that's a newer act or is doing things differently
Uh,
today?
let me pull up this playlist.
Okay.
At while I get this pulled up, I've been hearing though like lots of stuff like bands, metal bands throwing trap hi-hats in their songs or like
Mhm.
EDM drums, more synthesizers, just really like having a good time with it. And I'm doing that a little bit myself too, actually. The
Yeah,
song
you
I
have a
have,
newer song coming out, right? It's kind of like that with
yeah, Broken. It's coming out April 13th. So, okay, brief side
yeah,
note.
yeah.
The one song a month thing, second Wednesday of every month. So if you check me out and you like what I do, just follow me on all the things. Second Wednesday every month, I will have a song coming out. The second Wednesday in April, the song is called Broken. And yeah, I played around with that. There's trap hi-hats throughout most of the song. There's a couple breaks with like electronic, like EDM inspired drums, and it's a little different, but it's a fun time.
Yeah, as long as you have fun and you love it, that's it's I mean, the only one you're working for is yourself and whoever likes
Yeah.
your music. Um
Yeah, the way
I
I
you made
figure
a
it
oh go ahead, sorry.
is that I'm making music with a computer. I might as well embrace that, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah, just try to make it your own thing and interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made a promotion video for Broken. It's not the whole song for those of you who want to check it out, but I like what you did with the imagery on the video. And
Mm,
from what I can tell, there's not too much of the trap electronic drum. It's not like predominant. It's there, but it's
yeah.
still like the heavy riffage that you
Yeah.
go with usually.
It
I,
varies throughout the song for
okay,
sure, but I kind of used it in the same way like you'd use tambourine in a disco track. Like it's just kind of filling in the space.
right back there. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Goth trap.
Um,
That's really big right now. It's not what
okay.
Immortal is, but I've just noticed that has gotten
Yeah.
really big.
There was a I don't know if it's still going, but there was a big trap metal kick for a while there, which was just like trap beats with distortion thrown on the synth bass and like guitar samples and a combination of screaming and rapping. It was kind of cool, actually. It was really punk rock. The whole vibe was just like, fuck you, I'm gonna make music even though I don't know what I'm doing.
What is this? What are you referring? Like a
uh
specific actor?
Trap metal, it's a genre. I can't really think of any
Right, right.
artists offhand. I just
Ghostbane is the bigger one
Yeah,
right now. Is
yeah.
that who
I
you're
think
thinking about, or
yeah, I think another one is Scarlord. That sounds right. I don't know. It's shit I find on TikTok, and I was like, this is weird, but I kind of love it.
yeah, it's in our
Um,
wheelhouse.
and then I guess a bigger version of that, Falling in Reverse.
Mm-hmm.
They
They
did
went
that
that route,
song.
yeah.
Yeah, they did
Pop
that song,
punk.
Popular Monster, and that was like a really polished version of like the trap metal thing that just came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, yeah. I remember when they started too.
Yeah.
I like
Okay,
that band.
so I got this playlist pulled up and I'm just kind of cruising through it because I've
What
been
you got?
listening to it, but I haven't really been paying close attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a track on here called Closer by I think it's pronounced Varsity. There's no vowels in it, but it looks like Varsity. And that song, it almost sounds like if Michael Jackson made Gent. Um, Like it's really poppy, breathy vocals, and it's like a song about a club, but the guitar slaps. Like, hey, you could
Okay.
headbang to it. It's wild. Another one is Plastic Heart by Fame on Fire, and that's kind of like that trap metal vibe, but it's got like a big pop punk hook and then like a bunch of like heavy guitar riffs in between. Like it's weird. It's like the boundaries are gone and people are just like,
Yeah.
let's make music. The
I
new
like
motion.
that. You
Yeah, me
know,
too.
our generation saw the very closed off genre based way of consuming music, and we
Yeah.
we also saw the branching out of it. You know, I love
Yeah.
seeing concerts where it's multiple genres. It's it's more interesting to me that way, you know?
Yeah. Like I'll never forget getting picked on in high school because I liked Slipknot and not like OG thrash bands like Slayer. They're
Hmm.
like, Slipknot's not metal. Like there's blast beats and screaming. I think you're wrong, bud, but okay.
Yeah, we
Like,
were probably talking to the same guy. We went to the same high school for a second. Not the same
yeah,
time, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, when death metal got really popular and when grindcore came back around,
yeah,
uh like bands like the Faceless or Chelsea Grin came into the picture, everyone was like, "No, Slipknot, Metallica, no way. It's not heavy enough.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to
Like,
not understand what my band is saying so
yeah,
I can, I
like if you
don't
don't
know.
listen to the right metal, you're wrong, I guess. I don't know.
It's a trip. I guess it's like a um something in us that wants to
Yeah.
be, exclusive.
Yeah, I get it a little bit just
Yeah.
because it was just like last year before I stopped hating pop music. So, but since coming around like on pop music, now I'm just like, no, everything's great. Just enjoy what you like and let me play my guitar, damn it.
Right. If it's a good song, it's a good song. I used to not like country, but then I realized I just don't like pop country. Then I
Mm,
realized, no, there's some good stuff in there. If you know you kind of like the song, don't lie to yourself, you know.
yeah.
Then eventually,
Country
yeah, it was
country hasn't gotten me yet. I recorded one country artist, my buddy Sean Hawk, and that was fun, but he came up in metal and thrash and then transitioned into country. And I don't know, there's something about the way he writes where I like it,
uh,
but most country, no offense to anyone who loves it, I can't do it. There's something about the oversimplified lyrics where it just feels like I'm having a conversation with me, but
mhm.
they're hitting notes while they do it.
Right.
I
It's a
can't do it.
storytelling format. Pop
Yeah.
country is where that makes me what you said makes me think of pop country when
Mm,
this the more simplistic lyric
yeah.
framework there. Again, there's some good songs. It's just about finding what you like. You like Johnny
Yeah.
Cash though, right? You like old school, kind of a little bit,
A little bit.
a little bit. Okay,
I'll
that's
never
fair.
go
That's
out of
fine.
I'll never go out of my way to listen to it, but yeah, he had a cool voice, and that
Yeah,
does a lot for me. His cover of "Hurt" by Nine Inch Nails was pretty epic. I
that's what
really liked
I.
that.
That's the earliest, as far as I can remember. That's the first time I heard Johnny Cash was that
Okay.
cover. Yeah, my mom
Yeah.
had I think that's on American 4 is the album.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh anyway, yeah, Rick Rubin produced that one. I'm a big
uh,
Rubin fan.
who
Um
isn't?
so I'm sure someone isn't.
I think every everyone is, whether they know it or not. Music producers don't get a lot of credit unless you're in the industry.
Yeah, you got to know what they're doing. So a lot of folks assume that producers are the ones who write the music. That's true.
Yeah.
There's plenty who do
And
that, but sometimes it's just you're either a manager, you do what needs to be done. You may be the producers, the recording engineer,
yeah.
maybe just this, he gets the product out and make sure everyone's happy. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, a lot of time when I record, I put on that producer hat too, and it's not writing songs or anything. It's just helping keep things cohesive. Going like, oh, that second verse riff is really cool, but it doesn't really feel like part of the song. Maybe try tweaking it a little bit to keep things more coherent. Or like, oh, on that last chorus, you should try going halftime on the drums so it feels bigger and more impactful. Little things like that. It's like,
Alternate perspective. Yeah.
yeah, like it's
Way to
not
give you
quite,
ideas.
yeah, it's not really, producing isn't quite songwriting so much as it is like song enhancing.
Hmm.
They show up with meat and potatoes, and I've got the seasoning and the veggies.
Right, you're organizing everything. I mean, that goes
Yeah,
back to what we were talking about with ego being a big factor in getting anyone together to work on something artistic, especially, is if everyone can get together and put this producer in charge, I mean, not in charge, but someone from outside who can organize everything and be that mediary
yeah,
and it's okay, someone that feels okay enough and comfortable enough, I should say, to bounce their ideas off to the act.
yeah, yeah.
That's
It's really
if
important.
you can get everyone to work together on that, that's a big thing. Yeah. um hey, you want to talk about Hell?
Is that
The
my
song,
song or the
your
place?
song, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Let's talk about hell. That's a fun one.
Yeah, that one stood out to me. I've been trying to listen to your songs the last so many
Mhm.
days and days before that to kind of prep, trying to keep
Well,
what I can in my
my
noggin. Hell
my
really stood
set.
out to me. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I
My
I d- I'm listening to most of your stuff on Tidal. I try to do that so you get paid a little bit more.
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. I don't see lyrics for Hell on Tidal though.
Okay, they might not be on there. I'll level with you. I don't use title very often.
Okay.
Actually, I've never used title. I didn't even know my music was on there, but I'm
Well,
happy to hear
there's
that.
apparently some guy named Moortal on here with all your
Uh,
song titles and your
okay,
artwork.
it must be me. Um,
It is, yeah.
but yeah. Hell was a fun one. That one was kind of a concept track for me. Like I knew what I wanted to do thematically before I even started writing, which is backwards. Usually, I come up with a cool guitar riff, flesh that into a song, and lyrics happen later or story happens later. Um,
That
that's
was the opposite.
probably yeah. I
Okay.
had the idea first, like for the theme, and then I started working on the music based around that, and then from there wrote the music and then the lyrics. But yeah, that's probably why that song ended up being like I think it's 7+ minutes long or
Yeah.
something.
Let me
It
see here.
it's a wild one. It got
7 minute 40 seconds.
it got away from me. But so conceptually, I've mentioned it casually a few times that I have anxiety. Not to get all mental health or whatever, but along with that comes depression. I've spent most of my life suicidal. It's been a rough time. It's weird. I've had a good life. Like my parents.
Hmm.
It like it's strange that I got as dark as I did, but I did. But we don't need to dwell on that. Medicated, doing great now. If anyone wants to have a conversation about that, I'm very open and transparent about it. I like talking about it and trying to help people in my same situation. So if you see me, hit me up. Like let's chat. Anyway, back to hell. I wanted to write a song about depression and suicidal ideation, but from the perspective of the disorder instead of from the person like suffering from it. So lyrically, the whole song is like, I am the monster, I will kill you kind of thing. Not that plain,
You're
but
personifying it a little bit.
yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like
The
singing it.
force against you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the vocals are like from the perspective of this like murderous intent.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's the whole concept for the song. It was a lot of fun to write. It was really intense. I had a couple mental breakdowns trying to record it. um, but I'm really happy with how it came out. But yeah, so I had that idea, wrote all the music, and then put lyrics to it, and then tried to produce the crap out of it. That song also has the first guitar solo that I did for Immortal. I'm not much of a lead guitar player, very much a rhythm and like a riffer, but that song needed it. So it's there.
Yeah. No, I noticed that it stood out because I didn't really notice other guitar solos, right away at least.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I dug that part for sure.
There's
Um,
also a part at the bridge, like the breakdown, the super heavy part of the song that I'm
mhm.
really proud of. Some more production nerdery. I wanted it to sound just like stupid heavy and deep. So I took the guitars and I pitch shifted them down a full octave. So the song is in drop C, which is already lower than standard on a guitar, but I took the guitars and the bass guitar and dropped them a full octave. So it's just stupid low, and I'm doing these like intense guttural effects or vocals, I mean. And
Right.
everyone who hears it like thinks that the vocals are what's pitch shifted, and they're not. The vocals, I actually made those noises into a microphone, but the guitar is what's pitch shifted.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, your vocals have gotten really, really interesting over the years. Like you've yeah, you pull out all the stops too, and like Hell, and what was the other song I was thinking of? It is like Heartless too. You
That's
pulling
one
out
of my
all the tricks
favorites.
too. Like it's cool. It's really cool you're able to do all that stuff vocal wise. Um, yeah, for those who haven't heard death metal before, what or whatever genre metal that we're talking
Yeah.
about here, um, it's a feat to do that. The vocals, it's not easy.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not just screaming. There's a lot of technique and practice.
yeah, yep. And I mean, yeah, and your production's sounding pretty good. I think that's very clear.
Yeah.
Um,
As much as I
Heartless,
love
especially your song Heartless, I could understand you.
oh
Your other
nice.
songs I can too, but that one, that's I could tell there's a step difference there.
Yeah, Heartless was a big like breakthrough for me as a song. Like in terms of everything, like production, riffing, songwriting. I had just finished I entered a songwriting contest and I was like watching all the reviews and the results and stuff every week.
Hmm.
And there were so many like great tips in there by the time I got to my song, and like I kind of got roasted. Wasn't bad, like it was good, but everyone was getting roasted. But I got
Constructive
roasted.
roast, constructive
Yeah,
roasting.
a constructive roast, not quite constructive criticism. It was meaner than that.
Ah,
Um, but
gonna hit you right here. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
right in the chest. Um, but I took after watching that, after getting roasted and like seeing all the criticisms he gave all the other contestants, like I took everything I learned from that and put it all into Heartless. And I was so proud of that song when it was done.
Yeah. Hell
Um,
yeah. You have a good attitude about it then.
yeah, I
Yeah.
try. I try really hard not to get too butthurt about things.
Yeah. I mean, ego.
It's tough.
Man, there's so many times I've like met an individual who's trying to discuss something with me, and it's usually something I already know. But I try to check my own ego because there's always some kind of knowledge, a little bit, something new, something in there,
Yeah,
even if the dude's an asshole or something like that.
yeah.
There's
Everyone
some
knows
kind of
something you
lesson
don't
somewhere.
know.
Mm.
That's like, yeah, you can learn something from everybody.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the lyrics to Heartless right here. I know it's on Spotify. I
Yes.
noticed you have a record company that you're a part of,
Um,
Misanthropic.
So I did. I'm no longer in that contract, but yeah, I was signed for just about a year to Misanthropic Records. And Heartless was actually the song that got me signed. And it was
Oh,
cool. They usually focus on albums. They were willing to work with me on the singles thing. That yeah, they signed my other band too, Dead Love, my more pop project, but there was some
which we'll
drama
get
between
into.
there was some drama between the singer of that band and the guy who ran the label, and I didn't like the way it all went down. So they kicked Dead Love off the label, and I walked away with a Moortal because I didn't like how they treated my band.
Okay, well that's
Yeah. Drama.
yeah.
Yeah.
Enough said there. If you're not happy, you gotta change something.
Yeah. So I'm currently unsigned, trying to do it all myself. Yeah. And hopefully someone with a little more pull than I have appreciates my hard work.
Word. Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Um,
You were pulling up Heartless, I think you said.
yeah, I haven't been able to find the lyrics. Let me see.
That's weird.
It
I know them.
yeah. Well, I wanted to come from a place of knowing a few words here because I have been
Yeah.
listening to them, but sometimes I need reminders. Or we can talk about the lyrics. Yeah.
Okay.
What
Um.
what went into that one? I'm, I'm I know I've okay. I had something to say about it. I wish I wrote it down. That's yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. What you say
So
about it?
it's just a song for like anyone who's hateful, basically. I always joke it's about your racist uncle. We all have one. Um, and it is a little personal to me, but I won't get into that because I don't want to stir up any family drama. But in general, the song is just about like, someone you might have looked up to in your life, and then later you find out that they're actually, hateful and judgy and not as good as you thought they were. And it's
Okay.
about seeing that and coming to terms with that. The opening line is a hollow heart and a narrow mind.
Right. That's a good hook.
Yeah.
That's jogging my memory a little bit here. I definitely get what you're describing from it. It's kind of like meeting your heroes. It's some
Yeah.
warn
And they
against that.
suck.
Well, no one can live up to your own
Right.
expectations sometimes.
Yeah.
Anyone we look up to, it's like they replaced God a little bit there. Some kind of
Right.
archetype. It's that's I like that. That's something we all could kind of uh uh that's something we all probably go through is you know you put someone on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep, and it
Oh,
doesn't work out. Yep.
since we're talking about immortal songs right now, I I wish Broken was out so like we could talk about it more. That's the next song that's dropping because I'm real proud of that one.
Well, so it'll be out the first Wednesday in April.
Second Wednesday.
Second Wednesday in
Oh,
April.
I'm gonna
Sorry.
grab a calendar. I'm pretty sure it's April 13th, but I
Right.
could be wrong. It is April 13th. I was right.
April
Sweet.
13th. Good job. Um, okay, so a single every other Wednesday of sorry, what is it?
Second
I'm
Wednesday.
professional. Second
Second
Wednesday
Wednesday every month.
every month. Okay.
Yeah.
A
Till
single.
at least the end of the year, if not longer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And
I
Broken's out the 13th of April.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the one I'm pushing right now is Broken.
Okay.
I got a lyric video made for it.
What else can
I
you
got
talk about? What else can you say about it at the moment?
I hey, it's my song and I don't have a label. I can say whatever I want.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay.
Ask away, good sir. Or I'll just start volunteering information.
You can do that too. So you talked about how this one's going to be a little bit different because you put more trap influence or at least electronic percussion
Yes.
influence into there. Again, I really like your promotion video you made for it. Does that go through the whole song when you release it? Will that be part of it, the single?
Um, was that the one where you see me and I kind of look like a comic book that's moving, or is it the one that's the cover art and the like chair is like spinning?
The first thing you described. Yeah, you're moving
Okay.
around and stuff. I
Okay,
don't
yeah,
remember a
the
chair. I'll look that up.
okay. Those are yeah, that promo video, those are clips from the lyric video I made, edited. The lyric video I'm super proud of. So since diving into everything head first, I'm getting into like trying to make my own videos too. Yeah, that one. Okay. Nice. Um so yeah, I'm getting into like making my own videos now, which, something all us creatives end up dealing with, I think, is we, fall in love with music and then we have to learn 400 other skills to facilitate the music.
Hmm.
But yeah, so that's a excerpt from the lyric video I made, which I took and I filmed in front of a blank white backdrop, and I lit the backdrop and not myself, and then I put a bunch of effects on it to make it that really harsh black and white, almost like Sin City look.
Sure. Yeah.
And then that video is just the last chorus of the song, which is a huge vibe change. The main choruses of the song are very metal, guitar focused, lots of screaming. And then the last chorus, there's a little drop and it changes. and the electronic drums come to the forefront of everything. And when I was making the video, I was like, well, this kind of sounds like if metal had a rave, so the video needs to look like a rave, and I put all those like flashy light effects on it.
Okay.
The rest of the video is just like black and white with the lyrics on the screen while I'm screaming them and playing guitar.
This this section of the song you're talking about with how long does it last? How many bars does it last? Is it effectively a bridge, or has the effective one, like it segues back into the song and it sounds normal? It's not like it sounds like it stands out.
Yeah.
Does it
So
stand out quite a bit?
I'd say so. It's the very end. So after the bridge, there's one last chorus, and then there's like a short pause, and then it comes in with this new chorus with the big change, and that's what ends the song. So the song ends with a double chorus, and
Gotcha.
I want to say it's 16 measures. It's 8 or 16. I'm pretty sure the chorus is 16.
Okay.
But yeah, just hits right at the end. So like you've listened to this whole song and you're like, okay, this is cool. This is a dope metal track. There's been some things in here I haven't heard before. And then you're just hit with like these crazy like dubstep drums. You're like, whoa, that's different.
Makes you stop for a second to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sounds like you're really stoked about it then.
Yeah, I'm really, really, really happy with this song.
Cool.
And the song only exists because I learned a new scale. So that's
scale
fun.
Is that?
Phrygian dominant.
Okay.
That's our music nerd talk incoming. It's
Warning.
It's I guess it's a mode technically. I'm not sure, but it's your normal minor scale, except it has a minor second and a major third, which gives it this really like unsettling like contrast that I just looked it up one day. I had heard people like saying like, oh, the Phrygian dominant scale, it sounds like Egypt. It's like, okay, so what is it? And that's all it is. Minor second, major third. And yeah, it sounds like Egypt but haunted, and it's really fun.
Right, it just sounded right for you, right? You
Yeah.
got inspiration from it and you started writing.
Yeah, I figured it out and I was like, okay, there's something here. I wrote the intro riff and the song happened from there.
Okay.
Excuse me.
How's the audio on your end? On like,
Good.
if I get too close, is it too much?
It's a little boomy, but it sounds good.
Okay.
When you get real close, it's just you can tell you're being dramatic.
Okay, yeah.
I like it.
I was hoping that was the effect, just not too much. Like,
Good
I still have
proximity
not
effect.
gotten my headphones to work. But here I can put a hat on. I mean, you know.
Fantastic. Festive.
I was trying to figure out a good moment to put this on because it's kind of distracting.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
here when you're talking about something important. What's up?
Oh, so while we're being silly, just fun fact. I been in my pajamas all day. I put on a nice t-shirt for this, but I am just wearing like
whoa, hey.
Just wearing basketball shorts.
I'm just gonna in editing, I'm just gonna blur out that for no reason. Just not even like a part of your leg, just your whole, just like to confuse people.
I love it. Oop. You made me laugh too much. I lost my earpiece.
Good. Get yourself together.
Yeah.
So, okay, you got some singles coming out with Moortal.
Yep. Just released one this month too.
Right. That is, I know it. It's Sutures.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
nailed it. Someone did their research.
It's all instrumental in the beginning.
Just
riffing.
Kinda. Yeah, it starts
the vocals come in pretty quick, but it's
it starts out real chunky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it starts with just that verse riff that da da da, and instead of like a drum beat, it's like just tom smashing. And it's just really like percussive and violent, and then the vocals kick in during a pause. I like that song. That's another one about anxiety and being suicidal, but if you're mentally ill, you'll probably identify with my music. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. I'm depressed.
Oh. This might be the artist for me. Um,
No, that one, we haven't touched on it yet, but just a little bit of shameless self promotion, if I may. Uh,
I'll allow it.
okay, that song has a music video too. That is the first music video I made all by myself. I shot it on tripods and literally just holding my phone like I was making a TikTok. And I shot it in vertical instead of horizontal cinematic because I wanted that, like, like TikTok is really the new platform.
Yeah, you got to
Um,
make videos the same scale
yeah,
for wide and tall for Instagram, all that. Yep.
yeah. So
Smart.
I did my whole music video in the TikTok aspect ratio. I just wanted to do something different, and I don't. It fit the song. It's really like personal and like grimy and dirty and like kind of claustrophobic and in your face, and that's what the song's about. So
Okay, I'll check that out. I don't think I watched that whole thing then.
how dare you?
I know. I'm professional. Um,
Yeah,
awesome. Okay, okay.
real
One thing
stoked
that
on that one.
yeah, one thing that comes to mind is this filming technique I've been wanting to try. I haven't had something to use it on, but I saw this photo on Instagram. It was two DSLR cameras, same cameras. One's, for the horizontal shot, and then one's turned for the vertical shot, and they line up the cameras the right way so you're filming the same thing.
Okay,
So you kind of if it's especially if it's short, I think this would be easy to do, but you could just have it ready to go that way. You can also
that's
format it on your editing program, but it will give it a
yeah,
specific look, I would think.
yeah.
To it
That's
though.
pretty sick. I like that actually. Just shoot both at the same time. That's a good idea.
Yeah, you gotta line up the cameras the right way. Because
Yeah.
there's this other photo technique that I'm gonna try where it's a panoramic. I think it's called a panoramic effect. I forget what it's called, but anyway, you can make a GIF out of two photos. So you have your shot, you have your camera, you have your person you're shooting, then you go over here, shoot, and you go over here, and they're not moving or anything, for example, and then you can splice the photos together and you create depth. Like it can be really visible on a GIF, which is if
Okay.
anyone doesn't know, it's pretty much kind of like a 2-second video, but it's a photo.
Yeah. It's like
Um,
a looping short video.
mhm. It's an old school method. They used it just to get more depth in a photo. It's like
Okay.
I gotta look up what it's called, but some of the oldest photos they do that, and they just look fantastic.
Huh.
Um,
Also, for anyone who doesn't know, the word GIF, there's a lot of controversy over how it's pronounced.
oh, did I pronounce it wrong?
No, you
Oh,
you you chose my preferred pronunciation, but roughly half the planet will violently oppose you and tell you it's pronounced GIF, like the peanut butter.
oh, yep, yep, yep. Violently opposed me. That's true.
Uh, I like to say jife just to fuck with people because English is stupid and makes no sense.
It's a culmination of the world. American English is very like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
English is not a language. It's three languages in a trench coat.
yeah. Wow. Um, let's talk about Dead Love.
Okay.
So Dead Love is another band project. Aaron's in.
You know,
Aaron
I'm a
Moore is
I'm a
in Dead
busy
Love.
guy.
Yep. And who's all in the band right now?
Myself, Ryan Gymnatus is playing drums, and then our singer is Jay Willis, who's also going by Jet Black these days. I'm not sure what he'd prefer I address him as, but I met him as
Black's cool.
Jay, so he's Jay.
Okay. Okay.
um,
And yeah, this band's is very different than Moortal.
yeah,
It's
very different from anything I have ever done.
yeah, very rock, but also very poppy, but has a
Yep.
modern feel to it. And you guys write all your music. I think that's
Yeah.
really important for pop music.
Yeah.
If I can even if I may use the term pop in your music, referring to it. I
Absolutely.
mean, okay.
Yeah. When I decided to start the project, I like literally set out to sell out. That was like the joke.
When did
Um,
when
uh,
did that when did this whole thing start though? What about what time?
I was, I believe it was July of last year is when I started talking to the singer. Um, I yeah had the idea. I was like, I'm gonna make pop rock. I'm gonna make pop music with guitars in it because I want people to buy my music. Plot twist: it was really fun, and now I enjoy it. Whoops. So it's no longer selling out if I like it.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. And
but
if you
yeah,
write all of it and it's all under your own direction that you all
yep,
want to go, yeah, that's not selling out.
yeah.
I don't think so.
The goal was to do something kind of like in between Maroon Five's first album and like Green Day. And I'd say we nailed that. But yeah, I was
That's
my
funny you
girlfriend
say
and I
that.
my
Good
girlfriend
example. They were a band then.
yeah, before it was just the Adam Levine project.
Yep.
But yeah, my girlfriend Heather and I, we had driven out to the beach one day and we were in the car on our way back and we were talking about music and I was telling her I wanted to do that and she's like, "Well, just do it." She's like, "Just do it. Go for it. You'll kill it." That
Good advice.
she's crazy supportive. It's awesome. Um but I was like, "Okay." And like she was driving and I got on Facebook and hopped in the musicians of Lake County group. And I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a pop singer. Hit me up." And Jay commented on it. And so I sent him a message and we talked back and forth and told him what I wanted to do. And like 2 days later, I started writing our first song, Making Waves. And then I hit up Ryan. I was like, Ryan and I have been friends for years.
Mm-hmm.
I've known him since like 2007 or something, maybe longer. Um, but we've been in 2 or 3 bands together now. So I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, I know you're not really doing original music that much anymore, but I want to start like a pop band. Are you down?" And he's like, "Hell yeah, let's go." And that was
All
it.
right.
I wrote the first song, sent everything off to everyone. Ryan recorded his drum tracks at home himself. Jay recorded all his vocals at home. Everyone sent me everything, and I put it together, mixed and mastered it, and we released our first single with it in less than 2 months after like forming the idea of a band.
Okay. That single's making waves.
Yes, Making
Okay.
Waves.
Um.
Like,
Yeah, I've seen. I remember you guys did a promotional video at a show. Nowhere Escapes filmed it,
oh yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
you guys won that spot, right?
Yeah. We won a contest from a radio station in Chico to open up for Greg Scott. That ended up being our first show. We found out we won like a week before. So like we had band members like, calling in sick to work to make it. Like it was chaos. I didn't have any of the backing tracks made yet.
Oh,
We got to practice like twice before that show. We had never played together in the same room until that point, but we had, 3, 4 songs written already. So yeah, we just got ready for that show super fast and went and did it. And then yeah, Noah, No Escapes. We've known each other since we were kids. Small town life, gotta love it.
yeah,
Um,
yep.
he was the one
Small
who
world.
told
Yep.
he was the one who told me about the contest. He was like, "I think you guys will win. Just put your music video up." I was like, "All right, let's see what happens." Bet. And he was right. And him and a couple other people from the Chico Art Collective filmed the whole thing and gave us the raw footage, which was super rad of them to do. So
Yeah.
I edited together some of it to the studio version of the song, and yeah, we put that out on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's the first I have heard of you guys was that song and watched that
Okay.
video. And
Yeah,
I mean, you kind of touched on a factor of how to get a project started. You just got to do it.
yeah,
And in that instance of or in that circumstance of you guys just showing up at that theater to play is the El Rey Theater,
yeah. The
Chico,
El Rey and
California.
Chico.
You guys just went for it, trial
Yep,
by fire. You
yep,
know, if anything went wrong, you know what to fix.
yeah.
Just go
And
for it. Yeah.
we did pretty good. I think it was a good show. It helps. Not actually, no, it doesn't help. That's a lie. It
Oh.
hinders.
Yeah.
We use a lot of backing tracks live because it's just the 3 of us. So like all the rhythm guitar, the bass, the synthesizer parts, those are all backing track. And the only person who can hear the click at the shows is our drummer. So if he gets off time, we follow him. We're screwed.
Yeah,
But
I'm trying that whole setup right now with backing tracks and
yeah,
metronome. I
some
practiced with metronomes in the past, of course, like,
yeah,
but the thing with certain backing tracks, certain elements, and backing tracks being pre-recorded instruments, it's got to be the right things because sometimes you end up. It seems like you end up, in my experience, you end up playing to one of those. Like you don't.
yeah,
As a drummer, I don't like doing that. I like keeping everything in check. But it is nice to have like a backing guitar kind of help you find where you're at. But that's the
yeah,
trick. That's you gotta. That's there's some kind of balance there. But really, it's you just gotta practice enough. It seems like. Yeah. Is that
yeah,
would you say? So
yeah. So something I did that everyone said was really helpful is I when I made the backing track project, I did the same thing I do for Moortal. I made one big long project and tempo mapped it out and put all of them in one song or in one project in Keybase. And I went ahead and I exported that as an MP3 when it was done, and I just sent it to everyone in the band to like practice on our own time. And everyone said that was really helpful.
hmm yeah,
It
less
had it,
surprises that way. Yeah.
yeah, it had the click track in there and all the backing instrumentals and backing vocals and stuff, so everyone knew it was coming, could get their timing locked in, and then by the time we got together, we were ready to just jam it out.
Nice. Um. So what's next with Dead Love? You guys have some. You wanted to put some singles out, right? When
Yeah,
last we talked.
we've got let me go check on Spotify. I'm pretty sure we have 5 songs out right now.
Mhm. I really
Our
enjoyed 4K.
thank you.
I saw you guys play that. I'm pretty sure it was before you put it out.
Okay.
Yeah, that was that was enjoyable.
Yeah. That song is basically the reason it exists is the singer was like, you should write a Motley Crue song. And I was like, I don't know how to do that, but I'll give it a try. Um,
That's a
so
Motley Crue song. Okay.
I set out to write like if Motley Crue was pop punk, and 4K is what I came up with. Um,
I got a sense from the lyrics that it's a there's there's a lot of like things aren't clear and you want them to be.
yeah,
That's what
something
that
like
makes
that.
that's what I remember it being. It kind of that's what that's what spoke to me.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Dead Love has 5 songs out right now. Um, and we have our 6th single done and recorded. We just don't have a release date yet. So our singer Jay is getting married in July, and so it's
Congratulations, Jay.
yeah,
Jet Black.
and it's crunch time, so they're getting everything ready and set up, and that's kind of consuming his entire life. So we're taking just a little bit of a break until
Makes sense. Yeah.
his schedule frees up. He got a new job. Yeah, he's very busy young man, very responsible. So we're taking a break for a little bit, but that song should be coming out sometime in the next month. It's called Joker,
Okay.
and yeah, yeah,
How long
and
has that been
then
done? That single.
I just finished the mix a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, somewhere in there.
And you got more songs on the way.
Yeah, we have a ton written. We're just figuring out what we're going to release next, and it'll probably be after the wedding before we're able to sit down and start working on it.
Cool.
So we probably won't have any other than Joker. We probably won't have anything out till like October or so.
All
Yeah,
right. All right.
we hit the ground running and then had to slow down. Damn it. But no, that's life.
It's an excellent start, though. At least
Yeah,
in my opinion, if that, you know,
yeah.
means anything to anybody. But I think
Oh,
it's a
I
really
appreciate
strong
it.
start.
Yeah, I've been in bands that took 2 years to record their first song. So this is like the opposite of that.
Yeah, nuances. Uh, um, before I forget, um, you you passed along some good information to a friend of mine that or a mutual friend of ours that kind of blew my mind. So I've been playing with Jeremy Kramer. You know,
Okay.
we've been hanging out, just jamming,
Yeah.
and you gave him some advice on how to handle some music and some backing tracks and stuff like that. And so what blew my mind is he was getting this track set up, and he wanted to make sure I had. He was just gonna export this track, and I put it on my DAW, and that's how we play. I have stuff mic'd, and we go from there. Um, so he was trying to get everything set up on this track, so it had the metronome and everything on it. And he, what he did was he made it, he exported in mono, but before he did that, he panned the metronome all the way to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like I knew this would work, but you export it to mono like it is. You import it to your DAW so you can have playback, and it still works. Like it's on
Oh,
one side, and I
okay.
honestly didn't know that that's how that worked. If that makes sense. Like I thought
Okay.
once you export it to mono, everything's if it was a stereo track, it'd just go right back evenly in
Yeah.
mono. And it's like, oh man, I got schooled.
Yeah. I don't actually know how that worked. Him exporting it to mono. That's cool. I always do it in stereo for that reason. So I can have the click in like just the left or right side and then the backing tracks on the opposite side.
Well, what we ended up doing is he gave the track to me. Then I had a quarter-inch out into the our little mixer,
Yeah.
and he was able to pan from there.
Huh.
And
Trip. Okay.
yeah, so he was able just to. I mean, it's a quarter out to a twin out
Yeah. Splitter.
splitter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we use.
and it worked out really well. Maybe I got
Yeah.
something wrong in the description, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure
Yeah,
my
we
mind was
actually
blown.
we use this little guy.
Oh, headphone preamp.
No, this is a tiny mixer,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it's got like separate channels. So as I said, I do the backing tracks in stereo, but I actually make the metronome in the project for the live shows, and
That's how we were
um,
doing it. Yeah.
yeah, so I just take the same thing, quarter inch to left and right, and that goes into channels 1 and 2, and then the output goes to front of house. The other output goes to the drummer, and then the drummer can blend his mix of metronome and backing tracks in his ears for himself.
Yeah, that's how we ended up doing it. Um, routed out to my headphone preamp, and yeah, I was the only one with the click track. It was awesome
Yeah,
because,
stressful. All the pressure's on you,
well,
but
this it alleviates the guitar players and the singers a little bit. So that I mean, metronome's good to have for everybody, but if you're not into that, you gotta
yeah,
just another thing to focus on.
yeah. Our
As long as I
goal
practice enough, I'll be fine.
our goal long term is to get a good like in-ear full band monitoring system so we can all hear the backing tracks and click in our ears, but that's
Different
expensive.
levels, yeah.
Yeah, that's like $1,000 setup, so we just
Probably.
yeah, so we just
Fluff. You follow Fluff on YouTube, right?
yep, love that guy.
He just did a brand new miniaturized in-ear monitor system, more portable.
I watched that.
It's expensive, but it's really ingenious. Like
Yeah,
it's what I'm gonna strive for.
yeah, it's definitely a goal for sure, but it ain't cheap.
Nope, no. Yeah.
Expensive hobbies, gotta love them.
Yeah, no, yeah, we got expensive hobbies, man. I'm a drummer and a recording engineer, or want to be
Well,
recording engineer, and those are the two most expensive things.
yeah, yeah,
Oh man.
definitely. I think I'm finally at a point with recording where I don't need to buy any more gear. I have wants. There's definitely things I want that would make my life easier, but I don't need anything else. Ooh, while I'm talking about wants, though, if I may share, I did
I'll
just
allow it.
I bought my first just for me little toy. This is the Rode Pod Mic.
Okay,
I was I was tracking vocals with it earlier, so it's in its little shield. I don't want to take it off, but there we go.
very cool.
It was designed for podcasting, but it's basically just a Shure SM7B clone. It sounds just like it for like a third the price. I love that thing. But
Nice. And
that
it's
was
dynamic.
yeah, it's a full range dynamic, so it's really good for screaming. So it's harder to overwhelm than the condensers. But
Okay.
that was
You know
the
what? let's talk more gear stuff then. I wanted to get into that in some way.
Okay.
Warning. Um, tech talk.
Warning.
So I've seen that set up before where you have the the
A little
sound
shield
blocker,
behind it.
the shield in front of it. Um, do you think that's effective enough to have in front? Like I've always been taught that behind is the more important part because the microphone's facing
Yeah.
whoever's behind you.
So
What do you think about that?
these little shields, they're definitely not 100%.
Mm,
But like you stand in the middle of a normal square room, it's not too bad. I've tracked with that
you froze. One sec. You there?
shields.
And we're back. Technical
Okay.
difficulty.
Whoops. Okay. So yeah, these little vocal shields that go behind your microphone, they're definitely not like, one-stop solution. But most like bedrooms or living rooms in a house, if you stand in the middle, the reflections aren't too bad. This goes behind. So what it does is it doesn't stop the stuff bouncing off the wall behind you and hitting the microphone, but it stops a lot of reflections after that. So if you sing, stuff goes past you, reflects off of that wall, reflects back, reflects into it. It just lessens by like one or two reflections. And then today, when I recorded, I just opened up my closet and put that behind me.
Okay. Yeah. Some kind of
So
cloth barrier.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I had all the jackets behind me and then the shield behind the mic, and it was a good setup. I was working on the tracks right before we started this little chat here, and they sounded good to me.
Okay. Yeah, it's better than nothing. I could
Yeah,
see that. I knew it was helpful for side
yeah,
reflections, but what you're saying makes sense too, that bounce back
yeah.
whenever
And
hits
then
behind you.
this one's adjustable. So what I'll do with it here? Let me lower it so you can see. I'll take it and pull it like so it's enclosing the microphone pretty tight.
Have you tried recording guitars or drums with using that?
I have not
I've thought
actually.
about that being the better spot for that. I haven't used a shield like that before, but I see
Yeah,
them everywhere. I'm thinking, okay, where can I mess with this thing? And I'm thinking,
yeah,
what, kick drum mic, guitar, cab mic,
something.
something. Yeah.
I found with most of those things, guitars especially, if you're miking up a real speaker, you want it loud enough that the speaker is moving a little bit to get the sound of the amp. And at that point, it's so loud you're not going to hear enough of the room for it to matter.
Yeah, it's
So
super close miking. Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those things like you could get like obsessive about it and try to get that tone like that 2% more perfect, but I've found when I think about that stuff, it just stops me from finishing a project. So I don't worry about it that much.
Sure, sure. You've definitely thought about it like I have, just like
Yeah, it's
seeing how these things work, how much control can I
uh,
have?
it's kept me up at night for sure, more than
Uh-huh.
once. But I've switched to almost entirely modeling for guitars. So like
In
I
the
can mic up,
box. Yeah.
yeah. So I can mic up a cabinet if like a client wants, but I use amp sims for everything. I have a Line 6 Pod Go pedal that lives on my desk right here underneath my laptop, and that's where all my guitar tones come from for a Moortal and Dead Love.
And you still have an out going to a cabinet or
No,
okay, it's
it's all
all in the box, all in the
yeah, it's
okay,
all
okay.
fully emulated in the pedal, and then I just have an output to my interface. I have similar programs in my DAW, but the Pod Go is what I use live. So I like having the same tones live and in the studio.
Nice. Um, I'm more of a drummer, but I do have amp sims for the occasion or if I feel
Mm-hmm.
like playing bass. I use Slate Audios through you,
Okay, yeah,
and
Slate is
it's
good
pretty
stuff.
good. Yeah, it's a good emulator. I mean, yeah, yeah. There's a lot to
Okay.
learn though. I have some learning uh
Uh,
hurdles, but yeah, that the shield is interesting. I eventually want to build foldable standing shields for just all
yeah.
around. When I was my last project I was doing, I was recording the client. at the sound bar in Lower Lake. And
Mhm.
I did it in the biggest room we had just because I don't have a lot of shielding. I really didn't have anything like that. So the next best thing is in the center of the biggest room, farthest from any of the walls.
Yeah.
And it helped. It's not the, it's not a fix all, but,
I've
um,
had pretty good luck recording in garages with the door open. Um, it's hard to combat the outside noise that comes in from that, but the sound of it, there's not a lot for it to bounce off of, so you get a pretty good sound.
sure. I would think with close miking, that's, yeah, that's the best because aluminum doors can be loud. And
Yeah.
just, I've played in garages where we put the door down and it was a horrible idea.
Yeah, just a mess of noise.
Yeah. Um, but when you mentioned that your setup, recording setups at a pretty optimal moment, it's good right now, is in it's pretty much stuff you want to buy, you don't necessarily
Yeah,
need. I mean, it's amazing where technology is now, because now, digital was crap in the beginning, but now we have very good analog to digital converters, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper.
yeah,
Like that seems to me to be the a turning point with being able to produce in the box, meaning in the computer, and actually making it sound good, or for less money making it sound great, especially if you're recording, if you're actually recording amps or drums, live drums and all that.
yeah.
um yeah, that's my next big investment, is a good converter.
Mm,
I want to get more I want to get a interface with more inputs, but
yeah,
that's where I want to put my money, is building shielding and a good converter.
yeah. And any good, like, even a budget interface, like the modern ones, have good converters built in and nice clean preamps.
Mhm.
So, like, yeah, the barrier for entry has never been lower. You can get the Behringer Euphoria, I think it is, interface for like $150,
Yeah,
and that thing sounds great.
right. And yeah, you get that unit, and you can plug in microphones, plug into your computer, and write
Yep,
to your heart contents. And I
yep.
love how a lot of, like, I mean, it's been a thing for the last 10 years, but a lot of interfaces and budget interfaces come with that, like XLR, um it's XLR, and then you have like a guitar cable, quarter inch,
Hmm.
like they're two in one.
The combo
Yeah,
jacks.
the
Yeah.
inputs. Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah, I'm using a Kai EIE Pro. It's like the only interface, standalone interface they made.
Oh,
All
getting
the rest of them,
fancy.
yeah, all, well, it's they don't have updates for them anymore,
Mm,
but it's fine. It's great. Otherwise, all their preamps and interface technologies in their MPC
mm.
units.
Yeah. I'm a I'm a big advocate for like doing the most you can with the least. So like
Less
I
is
use a
more.
lot of budget gear, honestly. Like I don't have any like expensive stuff. The My home recording interface that I mix on and record like a Moortal and Dead Love on, it's just a 2 channel line 6 UX Studio.
Yeah,
It was a
lines. I
it was
wanted
a
to try
two
line six. Yeah.
it was a $200 interface, like that came with a copy of Cubase Lite or something. But yeah, super cheap. My big interface that I used for recording drums and stuff was only $400, the Tascam, and
Yeah.
it sounds amazing.
This one I bought in 2013 for $250. Four input,
Okay.
four output. Actually, has eight outputs, quarter inch
Hmm.
outputs, MIDI inputs. What was the other thing? Oh, three USB inputs.
Oh wow.
That's the extra that I liked.
Yeah.
Goes up to 96 kilohertz, which we'll talk about in a second. I want to try the Focusrite stuff, but yeah, it's never been. It's affordable to actually get something good.
Yeah.
Um, and I would love to have like another conversation about this topic, these kind of topics with you. Um, the last thing I was going to bring up about this is I want to try getting this one thing. It's called a cloud. It's pretty much like a direct box, but
Hmm.
amps your signal.
Is it the Cloud Lifter?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Okay.
I'm just starting to look into it. I think I want to try it because the one of the things it seems to me to be an issue with budget interfaces or whatever in that realm is the noise floor. Because
Mm-hmm.
mine, I've had the problem that they described the cloud fixes to where okay, your signal is not very good, so you just turn up the input gain on your interface, and it works. But man, when they do the loudest strike, it is loud, or the quietest thing's loud is out of nowhere. That kind of imbalance. I know,
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of ways to handle that, but I wanted to see if you looked into that, or you know.
Um, I haven't run into that problem very much. Um, I just I get on people when like doing level checks, especially drummers. I was like, we've all seen it. A drummer will be like, okay, we're gonna check the levels, and they're just like, okay, snare, tip, 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 and they're like, all right, go ahead and play. Crack! Like
Right.
they hit it like 10 times harder.
Yeah,
So
you gotta check them at the loudest, is what you're saying.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So I just get that initial check as loud as possible, as loud as possible at the source, and then that's what I set my input gain at, so I don't have to worry about peaking. And then yeah, I've never really had a problem. That one thing, this microphone, the one I was showing you a minute ago, is definitely really low gain. So when I track vocals on it, I've got the volume on my interface turned almost all the way up, but I haven't run any noise issues with it.
Right. That's supposed to just be one of the things they advertise it helping with if you come up
Mm,
against it, because every microphones are just different, from each
yeah.
to other, and require just different amount of power. The one I'm getting is their two input unit model, and it has an ohm switch,
Okay.
so it's supposed to just give your microphone everything it needs to.
Yeah, like a little bit of a boost.
Yeah, I want to try it because tons of companies make something like this.
Yeah.
um,
What is really cool about stuff like that, it's not, I guess it's not its intended purpose, but the whatever however they wire those things, they tend to color the signal a little bit. One complaint a lot of people have about modern preamps is they're all super clean. They're hyper
sure.
pristine.
Mhm.
There's no character or color to them. But when you introduce something like a cloud lifter or any kind of like tube transistor or something, it puts this like subtle saturation and flavor on the sound. And that's something that's really fun about that stuff, especially if you have a few of them, because you can use different flavors for all your sources and it kind of mixes itself. But
Right.
that's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of spoiled these days with the amount of control we have to have clean preamp, and we can add distortion or warmth using
Yeah.
different software. But yeah, if it's not too much of a effect on there, I'll try the cloud thing. I I don't want a dead sound for sure,
Yeah.
but as long as it's not too much, you know.
Yeah. What a
There's some preamp units that are external. They're not DIs, they're not digital interfaces that you can have it clean or add distortion. Like I've seen that more often lately. It's probably been a thing forever, but you know what I mean.
yeah. And one of the next toys I want to get is I want to get a just a little tube preamp that would go in front of my interface. Just something to give the vocals a little zazz.
Well, this cloud thing is pretty much that, right?
Yeah.
They advertise it for all sorts of instruments. It's just whatever you want to put a microphone on. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to try it. I want to just move things up to the next level somehow, and it's those three things. It's those four things I mentioned. A better
Yeah.
room, good converter, um, maybe something like the cloud to just strengthen my resolve, the sound. Uh, the fourth thing. Anyway,
The fourth thing. Yes, the elusive fourth thing.
the one thing, yeah. How you doing on time?
I'm good.
Yeah, I was gonna just go a little bit longer and see how
Okay.
where things were.
Yeah. I got nothing else going on today. I got my vocal tracking done and girlfriend doesn't get home till 4. So
Nice.
this is
That's why you're in your pajamas.
yep.
Just yeah,
I'm just at
house to
home.
yourself. Yeah,
Yep. I'm just at home making music all day and cleaning.
that's what I've been doing since I got this new place. Just cleaning.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I love it, honestly. It's been so good for my mental health
I
not having to
realize
go to work.
I do too. My other job, I'm a cleaner, and it's nice. It is. It's
Yeah.
like meditating.
Yeah. I just,
It's like, man, there's no one else here to help me do it.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
My,
man.
my girlfriend's off making the money and keeping us fed. So I'm just like, yeah, no, you do that. I'm gonna do dishes. It's fine. I got
Yeah, my
this.
girlfriend makes money too, damn it.
That's all right. It's 2022. Gender roles are pointless. Embrace it.
I'm embracing it. She doesn't buy me anything though. I'm kidding. She buys me a lot of stuff. I wish she would work less and spend more time with me.
Right. My girlfriend's work day is my work day. I get up when she gets up, and when she leaves, I come in here and start working on music. So it works out well. So I
Yeah,
still have like a routine and a schedule, but it's not. It's all stuff I like doing now.
that's the dream. I've been working hard to just find more time for that, doing what I want to do.
Yeah,
And moving into this place was great.
good.
Um, what's what is Blood Honey? You're part of this other project I saw.
Okay, well, kind of. So that's some friends of mine. They started a new project, kind of actually similar vibe to Dead Love, like kind of as hard into like as heavy as you can get while it's still being like pop music. So lots of guitars, cool driving drums, but there's like synths and like clean vocals.
Okay.
That's something my friends started. I wasn't a part of it. They saved up a bunch of money. They wrote an EP. They went out to LA and had their stuff like produced and recorded. And then they had a gig and they hit me up and they're like, Aaron, you can play bass, right? I was like, yeah, what's up? And like,
Yeah.
we need a bassist for the show. I was like, okay, when's the show? 2 weeks. Like, all right, practice on Monday.
Yeah.
I jammed with them like 3 or 4 times, learned 3 or 4 songs and did the show. But I'm not in that band. I just kind of sat in, helped out. But good dudes, like them a lot. I hope I get a chance to play with them again.
Okay.
They did another show where they had a different guy hop on bass, but I've been talking to him, just like, hey, I got time. You got shows, hit me up.
Mm-hmm.
Because playing music for and in front of people is my favorite thing, even if it's not my music.
Word. So when you worked with them, that was what, a couple years ago or more recently?
Just a few months ago.
Oh, gotcha,
Um,
gotcha.
oh God, when was that? That show was in January, I think. I have to go look it up, but yeah, I think it was January I played with them, maybe December.
Okay. Um, do you have any shows planned with the other projects? Forgive me if you mentioned that or not.
Um, so something we haven't talked about yet is Strychnine, my dad's band that
Okay,
I
okay.
that I play drums in. We have a few gigs coming up. We're playing at Spanky's in Katati, April 16th, and then we're playing at the Moose. Actually, I don't know if Strychnine's playing at the Moose Lodge show or not. There's gonna be a show at the Moose Lodge here in town on. I gotta look up the date. It's May something. It's May 14th. May 14th. And I'm gonna be performing there with a Moortal again. I don't
Okay,
know if
okay.
Strychnine will be playing, and then yeah, Dead Love's on hiatus right now. So
Right, just trying to get everything worked out again.
yeah, and then an idea I just had like this morning in the shower. I'm gonna do I think I want to do a live stream show with a Moortal sometime soon. Just same setup as I would do live, just stream it on like TikTok or YouTube or something. I haven't figured out where or when yet, but
That's a good
uh,
idea. It's just more content for you to
yeah.
go
And
with probably. Yeah.
I'm coming up on the 2 year release of my first Immortal song, so I feel like I got to do something to celebrate that.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to play some shows too.
Yeah, they're
I'm
starting
working
to
something out.
good,
Just
good, good.
yeah. Um, which everyone will soon hear about.
Oh,
Hopefully,
is it
very
is it
soon.
an unannounced project going on?
You could say that. You
Okay,
could say it's very unannounced.
All right.
You know,
Well,
I don't know. Yes, it's yeah.
you're gonna have to tell me about this off mic then, because I want to know.
Sure. Yeah. Some another project we're actually collaborating with you and me is that compilation for Crimson.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um so this is the first announcement of it actually. So Crimson Media Group will jazz hands.
Jazz
Um
hands.
will be releasing a compilation, pretty much like a small album of different bands that like to work with us or we're trying to promote. And yeah, it'll be free to download. We're making these hard copy CDs that have a lot of extras in them. That'll be free. You
Ooh,
just gotta pay for shipping. That's the goal.
nice.
And there'll be 50 of those. So select amount. And yeah, you'll be able to download these great songs wherever. Immortal's on there. ZZ Lurk's gonna be on there. My friend Kyron from Arizona, who I've interviewed before, she'll be on there. D'Artagnan, who I worked with on
Mm.
this EP, this ukulele, he has a song on there. Wormhead has a song on there with my partner Jeremy Kramer. Nikki Synths from Oregon, and we got a few other people in line. We
Very
got some
cool.
fun stuff going into it, and hopefully that'll be out next month. I've been
Sweet.
saying that for 3 months, but it
Uh,
will. It's getting close here. We got almost everything ready.
It'll be out eventually.
Yeah, the future.
Yes.
Jazz hands.
No.
Uh, I'm a professional.
That's your catchphrase now.
I'm a
Uh,
professional.
yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. I do it too.
What's your catchphrase?
I just random nonsense. No,
Random
I actually,
nonsense.
I actually say
Oh,
I say I'm a professional all the time, in like the same kind of self-deriding way.
That's a good response to my catchphrase. I say, oh, I'm a professional. He's like, yes, I'm a professional all the time too. So whatever you said, yeah.
Yes, we are professional.
I know how it is, man, being a professional.
Real rough.
Yeah.
Technically, the only thing you need to be a professional is to be paid for what you're doing. So, see, literally the only qualifier. You can be as unprofessional as you want. If you got money for it, you're a professional.
Yeah, I think that's a big step right there. Yeah. Um there's characteristics too leading up to that point, of course,
Yeah.
on time, follow through,
Yeah.
communication.
All these things we associate with professionalism.
Right. And then
Yeah.
once you get paid, you're right. That's when
Yeah.
most folks will say, "Oh, this guy seems to be
He's a
doing
pro.
something." Yeah.
That's
Um.
it's the difference between a professional and an expert. An expert knows all the things, but a professional gets paid.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you there.
I am neither of these things. I'm just a guy.
You're immortal. You're just immortal.
Yeah, I'm just immortal.
Yeah. Um. Okay. 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 Again, I have some notes on this whole. I was gonna let's bring it up real quick. So, how do you feel about the whole audiophile world with these expensive setups, playing back the
Mm.
crisp version of your songs and all that? We talked about it a little bit, but where do you think the bullshit is, or what part of that world do you not know enough about that you might give some leeway to?
um, so from the consumer side of things, I know basically nothing about like the setups. Like I know vinyl's big right now. As far as the rest of it, knowing what I know about like production and stuff, I think most of it's bullshit. um, yeah,
The
I
uh the hi-fi world, there's a certain point where you spend enough money, but
yeah
they I think at a certain point that in that aspect there's a lot of bullshit, because it gets to
yeah
like just the materials your speakers are made of,
yeah
or
that seems
how
excessive.
the fine craft purity of the metal they used in the needle of your record player, and
Yeah,
the wires that are just the most expensive
So,
part of the setup. That I think that seems to be the bullshit aspect, at least
yeah.
there. And
So I could be wrong. I'm willing to admit that, and this could be a hot take. But
exclusive.
yeah, exclusively on Crimson Media. Immortal says some dumb controversial shit.
Oh,
No,
come on.
no, I think with the commoditization of whatever that word is, I think with how available music has become, let's say that, and how easy it is to make it and to get it and listen to it in high quality wherever you want, there's been a certain like exclusivity factor that's been lost. And I think that's where that whole like hi-fi pristine like vinyl world comes from. It's just people want to feel like their stuff's cooler than everyone else's. Because like I've I don't really know how to mix and master for vinyl. That's not within my skill set yet. But I've done a lot of tests where like I've exported songs as low quality MP3s, high quality MP3s, high quality WAV files, and gone and listened to that in the real world on like normal sound systems, good headphones, cheap headphones, cars, my studio monitors, and like this is what I do like all day, every day. So I think I'd like to think I've got pretty good ears. And I couldn't tell you the difference between most of it. I can hear the difference between a top quality WAV file.
Hey, we're back again.
The glitch is over.
I don't clean out my computer. So
That's
it was like,
okay.
hey,
Because you're a professional.
because I'm a professional.
So what I was saying was when exporting like files of varying quality to kind of see if I could hear a difference. The only thing I could really hear is like a top quality WAV versus like the lowest bit depth MP3 I could do. I could hear a difference between that, but like a good high quality MP3 and a WAV, I can't tell. And I have a sneaking suspicion that most others can't either, but there's this sense of elitism that people like to have because they bought all this cool shit. And like, if it makes you happy, go for it. I'm all for following the dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
Life is hell, smile. But like, I don't think there's that much to it. I could be wrong. But for me, I think it's mostly snake oil.
Yeah, I think there's some aspects of it that is,
Yeah.
especially the most high price stuff. I mean, the craftsmanship is what goes into the like
Yeah.
hi-fi equipment. And
I mean,
I've
if it's
experienced the same thing where I have heard the difference between your master and like a 128 MP3 file. Big difference. It cuts out some of the frequencies, the volume's not, it's all just,
yeah.
it's not dynamic. That's where you can hear it.
Yeah, I release all my stuff as I think it's 356 bit MP3s. Like I don't even do WAV files. You know this for that compilation. I had to go export a WAV special for you.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad you brought it up. Well, my whole thing is, you know, if you put a WAV file on your DAW, your software, and you put it up against, something that was rendered out something smaller, eventually you render out, to the lesser, you'll see the
Yeah.
differences at least. And I just don't want to be the one to dither in
Yeah.
any respect, even if you can't really tell the difference, because I will take your WAV file and make it a 16-bit for CDs.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing I'm doing to it. And I just, I want to start from a good point, because now there's the digital realm of what we're talking about, and there's the analog realm before us, where you could have some shitty rendering out of things. You could, the more you took from a tape, a
Excuse me.
master tape, made it into like a copy of that. They have a name for a thinner tape, not reel to reel, but the next step.
Yeah.
Eventually it dithers. And there was a time in the 90s and 2000s when they were re-releasing old albums where they were taking like the copy that was from like 9 copies down, and sometimes you could really see where that goes. It's like that's
Yeah.
uh where I think quality kind of counts, especially in the analog world for old music.
Yeah. When you do a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, every time you copy something, it gets lost.
Yeah, especially in the analog world. Apparently it
Yeah.
happens in digital, but not to the same degree.
Yeah, most of those things seem to be imperceivable.
Mm,
Here,
yep.
fun fact, just to throw it out there, the first 3 or 4 Dead Love songs, the vocals were MP3s, like in the project file. The singer sent because Jay records and mixes his vocals himself,
Mhm.
and he uploaded an MP3 to our Dropbox instead of a wave, and I downloaded it, and I was done mixing before I realized I was like, you know what, fuck it, sounds great. We're releasing this. So there's there's a lot that, like, if you don't know, you don't know.
Mhm. Mhm.
Glenn Fricker on YouTube is
Yeah,
really good for that.
Vector
He
Media.
does, yeah, Spectre Media Group. He's dispelled a lot of the bullshit I used to believe about guitar amps, which was something I wanted to bring up actually about the hi-fi audio thing. The thing that probably makes the biggest speaker for the or difference for those guys is the speakers. I would bet the thing that's physically moving air, that's probably the
That's
most
from what I
important.
understand too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is to draw a parallel in guitar amps. Like us guitarists, we are always nerding out about like these tubes versus those tubes, tube head versus solid state, whatever. But like when it really boils down to it, 80 to 90% of your tone is your speaker cabinet and what speakers are in it. Like that's way more important than what tubes are in your head. And I imagine it's probably the same thing for a listener too. You could probably have, if you have really good speakers, you could probably hook your phone up and play Spotify through it, and it's going to sound amazing.
Well, that's another aspect of the hi-fi world I want to talk about is so my CD player, my Sony CD player, it has 5 slots for CDs,
Mm.
right? Pretty cool. Um, Much louder, much more than when I put my phone in an aux to my stereo.
Huh.
Because my CD player is amplified for one, has its own units that goes into my stereo system, same one that I route my phone into. Just has more So like
Okay.
the hi-fi world, they'll have like really nice like converters that amp up the signal. So I think that's where I want to invest in. But
Mm.
I mean, every time I look stuff up about that aspect of having a good converter, a good amplifier, for just listening, um, there's some bullshit to it, but you can get something really good for not too much money.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
the again, the expensive stuff is just the craftsmanship. That's why it's expensive, and
Yeah.
then
And
like
that,
the
that
exclusiveness.
yeah, and that makes sense. Like you should, it makes sense to pay for something that's well built, regardless of how much it affects the sound. Like if it's well made and gonna last forever, that's worth money all by itself.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't know. I listen to music on my studio monitors or in my car. That's pretty much it. Uh,
yeah. I've been streaming more. I have a lot of records. I spin. Um, I just like different formats.
yeah,
I
I
look
do
into
think.
it enough, but the physics still. There's a lot I don't know. But
Yeah, and I
I'll
do
check
think.
out my let's see if I do that. I can do this right without not destroying everything. I got some JBLs.
Ooh,
Yeah,
noise.
I was so proud of myself that I was able to afford those finally.
I got budget boys. I got the M Audio BX5s, but they work. They're not the best monitors, but I've been mixing on them for like 5 years now, so I just know them really well.
Yep, yep. Think yeah, keep them.
Yeah,
You mentioned Glenn Fricker. Yeah,
yeah,
I really go to him to kind of form my opinions on things because he's very uh tries to be non-biased, tries to be aware of promotional aspects of equipment. It's kind of just they kind of just press it to sell it or
yeah.
just yeah, I think he has the right way of looking at things and testing things out. So
He's got a
yeah,
lot of good info.
for sure.
Definitely. I just love when he tests things like tubes and stuff. Because a lot of time he goes into it expecting like the same thing I expect because it's what we've been told for a decade, and then it's like, nope, this is all a load. I'm like, oh, cool.
He addresses some stuff too, like my whole way of looking at how digital recording and playback, from like the early days till now, he touches on or has touched on with, we were used to like really cheap computer speakers on our desktops. Of
Yeah.
course, MP3s were fine, because we couldn't really
Yeah.
do much beyond that. And so that's where like digital gets a really bad rap also from, individuals that have been in the business forever. But now finally the equipment you can make some good stuff, especially if you're a
Yeah.
good musician. They have all a musician has all the tools that they need now,
Yeah.
essentially.
Not to give
Options.
myself not to give myself too much credit, but I think I'm a prime example of that. Everything I do is budget gear, and I think my stuff sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a good like reference point too. You went green screen. Whoa.
Oh, am I back? Am I here?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You're all like,
Yep, you froze on me for a second too. Crazy.
okay. I think it's just a signal thing. Still
Yeah,
recording, so
perfect. My internet's been kind of fucky the last couple days, so it might be me. Sorry.
do you have MediaCom?
Yes, sir.
Me too. It's the best
Gross.
you can get.
Yep.
It really is.
Still trash. That's the best you can
Hey,
get.
I had AT&T and that was trash. Where at least where I used to live.
Mm.
Just
Yeah.
the worst experience. Every time you wanted it to work for like something you had to sign for government shit, didn't work.
Yeah. We don't have options here. That's our problem.
Yeah, everyone, we live in not the outskirts of society, but it's a poorer county, less infrastructure.
Yeah. It's a small place.
Yeah, I like it.
It's tiny.
Yeah. Very pretty
Yeah.
though. Lake County's
Yeah, true.
beautiful.
It ain't much, but it's home.
Yeah,
I like it.
word. Um
Everyone thinks I'm crazy for not moving away. I'm like, it's quiet and pretty. And I don't need to move to LA to make it in music because the internet's a thing now.
right.
Part of it, part of it's stubbornness too. I've got that like, tell me I can't do something and watch me do it attitude. So like, you'll never make it if you don't leave Lake County. Like, watch me. I mean, so far they're right. I'm 34 and still not a famous musician, but here we are.
But as long as you do everything the way you want to, how you're doing it,
Yeah,
that's something the professionals don't always get to have, control. You did it your way. Um, I mean, there's also like there's tons of musicians that were older and got famous older. Bill
yeah,
Withers comes to mind. He was in his 40s before he got big.
yeah.
Others,
Um, on the metal side of things, Lamb of God, they were all pushing 40 before they broke through. Fuck Ice Nine Kills, they're
yep,
blowing up right now, and they're 20 years into their career. Granted, they were like a smaller like BC tier Warp Tour band back in the day, but they're really like blowing up right now. So
yeah. Meshuggah is another good example. They're not that old, but they've been at it for a while, and now they're
yeah,
like goats.
yeah,
Um, the Misfits. If you see my turning a
yep,
T-shirt into a poster, they've
fantastic.
been known forever. Like they've always like they haven't always, but since we were kids, they had a good amount of income from merchandise
Yeah,
and stuff.
they're a cult band.
Yeah. But when they started out, they didn't make any money. They played shows once in a while to like sometimes very little people. Got a cult following, but they were just hungry all the time, etc. And then they come back in 2016, they're playing sold out arenas.
Yep.
This whole it's an old industry thing saying you have to be this age in this place at this time. I mean, it's all circumstantial.
Yeah. I'm just trying to build up like my own small, like loyal fan base, you know? I just, I don't need to be Metallica or whatever. I just want like 1,000 people who like know who I am and think what I do is cool. Like that's enough, you know. And something I heard on TikTok recently actually that really spoke to me and made the whole like full-time musician thing seem more feasible
Hmm.
is if you have 1,000 fans who will give you $100 a year, between merch sales, music, whatever, that's $100,000 a year income. Like that's way more than I need to exist.
Yeah,
That seems a lot more achievable than like being Metallica.
right. That's a good goal to set. I've heard something similar before, and I mean, like Metallica and all those bands, when you see documentaries about how they look back on how they were thinking when they started, they had that same mentality though. Hey, I just want to be happy, play music, and be known by enough people that I can keep doing it, you know?
Yeah,
And
I've
that
never.
that's self um uh you pushing yourself in that way, being that it's all you need. I mean, that's power, you know,
Yeah,
independence.
yeah. I just want to be the best musician I can and pay my bills with what I love. That's all I need in life. So
There you go.
feed me and let me play guitar.
Nice. Well, hey, let's we'll wrap it up right now.
All right.
Where can everyone find you? I will put, all your links in the description for the video, but yeah,
Okay.
where can we find you?
So I'm Amortal or Amortal Music on every platform. It's A period Moortal. So it's spelled like my name. But I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Got a link tree. If I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, all the major streamers. So if you just, I picked a good name. If you Google Amortal, I will come up.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have trouble finding you actually when I looked in other
No,
places because I know who you are, so I had no
yeah,
trouble finding you on Facebook. But
that was a very deliberate choice when I was coming up with the name for the project. That was one of the key factors I wanted to make sure when I Googled it, like I would own the first page of Google.
yeah, they used to do that in phone books. You put
Yep.
A, you're gonna be first in the list.
Yep.
Um,
I'm smart sometimes.
Heck yeah, I'm sometimes too smart and stuff. Um, okay, let me just look on my list real quick, and again, I'll put all the links down below. And yeah, yeah, everyone, hey, check out Amortal, check out Dead Love, check out anything else that Aaron has in association with those projects.
Just follow me. I post about all the things I do all the time.
Everything.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Well, hey, I can't wait to do this again,
Yeah,
because
definitely. Anytime.
I love to record, interview Dead Love, but it's a dream.
Yeah. Time, schedules. Life gets really hard to organize when you get older.
I'm feeling it. It's hard to find enough time today, but we try, and
No,
yeah.
no, you can just interview me again on behalf of Dead Love instead. I'm
Okay,
always
okay.
around.
Yeah, we'll do it again because
Huh?
I thought this went pretty well. But hey,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone check out Aaron Moore and all his music endeavors. And hey, thank you very much for doing this with me.
No problem. Thanks for having me. It's a good time.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it. And hey, I'm always rooting for you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, I'm gonna stop the recording once the screen lets me. And